Hello and welcome to a brand new Unsourced. I'm joined again by my gracious co-hosts Tony and Doug, and with special guest in praise of shadows, Zane. Why don't you introduce yourself and let's ask you the question we've asked everyone else already. What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, what's okay? Ooh, probably Rosemary's Baby. That's the first thing that
Oh,
comes to mind.
that's so good. I watch it every year, man.
Yeah, it's like a perfectly paced movie. Maybe like one of the most perfectly paced of all time. Just it doesn't have an ounce of fat on it, and just everything works like across the board. I love it.
Oh man, it's just so guttural and nihilistic and just emotionally just fraught. I love it. It's like my second comfort horror movie because it's just so it makes you feel like shit every time. I love it. All right, so this one's for the table. Tony, why don't you start off? What's your favorite movie when you realized the series was just dead, that you wanted it to just
Oh,
die?
yeah, okay. Great question. So like growing up, I loved the Nightmare on Elm Street series, as I've said several times on this series. And I think that when I was really young, I watched Dream Child. That's like the fifth one, right? Uh,
Yes.
and that was like one of those instances where like you're young enough to where like most movies are good in your mind, right? But then you watch that and you're like, wait a second, maybe some movies are kind of bad. And like for me, I'll always remember The Dream Child as one of those movies that's like, this does not have anything that I liked from any of the prior ones. Like even two had a lot of fun and has aged fantastically. So like, yeah, no, it's Dream Child for me.
It's fantastic. You didn't like Super Freddy? He was pretty cool. Anyway,
Super Freddy's played by somebody else. It's like one of the only times where it's not Robert Englund,
the
is it not?
original Thing, Ben
Mhm.
Grimm, Michael something. We have some respect on that guy's
Oh,
name.
sorry. My apologies.
All right. So, Doug, what's your favorite movie where you realized the franchise was dead?
Uh, Probably like Jurassic World, because like I love Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park all timer. Like I was a big dinosaur kid. Watched the fuck out of that, and then like even like Tony says, as a kid, like most movies are good. So like I'm hearing people complain about Lost World, and I'm like, I don't know. It's got dinosaurs, so like I don't see what you want. What's the problem? I do still defend three. I think there's like Joe Johnson at least like understands that like you kind of just have to go B movie with it. I don't mean a Jerry Seinfeld B movie, but World was like when I started being like, oh, there's like this franchise is just going to keep hitting the same note forever, and then they kept. Yeah, there was a trilogy of doing that, and then they rebooted it, and they are still hitting the same notes.
All right. So, Zane, I'm not sure if you want to answer. It's a little provocative, but what's your favorite scary movie where you realized the franchise was done?
Um, I really think that Trimmers one, two, three, and four are genuinely doing something like
Oh, nice.
interesting with the monster, but once they hit five, it's a similar problem of like we're just gonna remake the same movie over and over again from here on, except just with different like locations. You know what I mean?
No, you're not
Um,
wrong. Yeah, because there's an escalation of the monster designs up until then.
yeah, yeah. In the first few, yeah, they each get like a biological like change. So yeah, like around around five though, they just sort of like start spinning their wheels with
Yeah, and then we get Jimmy Kennedy for like three of them, and it's like, what are we doing here? All right. Let me ask my own question. Similar to Doug, but we'll see how this plays out. Okay, mine's a little bit more spicy. Evil Dead Rise. It made me sad. It really made me sad to
I
that
can
movie.
see where you're coming from. I can, but I don't hate that movie.
I don't hate it either,
I
but
I
like
I I don't hate it. It's the
I
weakest
I
one.
don't hate it, but it depends on where Burn goes. Burn has to like be something because
Because they need to like kind of prove the anthology thing has because like that's kind of right the experiment of Rise of like, oh, we can just take it out of the cabin, we can do whatever, put
we have someone else do it.
we have someone else helming it, so like if they can successfully pull off one of those, I think I've always put they need to lean it, do a period piece, like put Deadites like on the fucking on a Zeppelin or something. The Hindenburg, like how'd the Hindenburg crash? They found the
Yes, that's a good one.
Necronomicon.
That's good. But yeah, no, it just felt like what if we just took the boil Evil Dead down to like a set of set pieces that we need to hit, and like that was just like that felt really bad to watch.
And they were set pieces that weren't specific. Like you're in an apartment complex, and most of the set pieces aren't like like you could do those ones anywhere. Like they just find a chainsaw in the park garage. It was like, okay,
Yeah, no. So again, it depends on how burn goes, but like this is like I don't know if I even want another one at this point because like is it gonna just be hitting the checklist every time? That's what it felt like. So, but we're not talking about.
So just one more thing on that note, right? Because like Evil Dead is a franchise that's known in innovation, right? Like the original franchise was known for that. The television show was known for that. Even that 2014 remake, right? There was like a really grisly undercurrent to it, and that in a way, its own way, was pushing itself forward. Evil Dead Rise, it's a fun horror movie. I enjoy it quite a bit, but it's not like really inventive in any kind of way. It's not really, an interestingly told story,
Yeah, no, and it does mention like these are the things that must happen, which was the thing I didn't like with the remake. I like the remake a lot, but like these are the things that must happen for the demon to arise. Like, why? It's really like because then you're commodifying or like
yeah, like when they canonize the stuff from the original movie and make it be like Ghostbusters, for example, where they're like, oh no, that's the only form Gozer shows up in or something. I'm like, why?
It has to happen that way. But again, we're not talking about Evil Dead Rise. That's another discussion for another marathon. We're talking about a different movie that's even worse, Scream 7. But you're new here, Zane. We've all talked ad nauseum, especially as we've done this for like the last 11 weeks.
Oh wow.
Our history of the Scream franchise. What's your history of the Scream franchise? Like, what do you think about them in general? And I guess maybe you start off with your open general thoughts. Brief thoughts on 7. Yeah, like what's your
thoughts with the franchise or
thoughts on the franchise? Which one? Not going specific. We're going to do specifics later when we do our rankings. But do you like them? Have you caught up with them?
I do like them a lot. Sorry.
Yeah, your mic.
Sorry, I've got a slight stutter, and I
no problem.
Get stuck on words sometimes. When I think about it, one of the memories that I go back to is during COVID. A drive-in theater near me one night did 1 and 2, and I will always have a special place in my heart for that night. And I do like them. It's some of the earliest memories I have associated with like franchise horror, actually not specifically because of Scream, but because I sort of realized at a young age, oh, these things can be like connected and continued and stuff because of Scary Movie actually. So like I have association with that as well. As far as like 7, I felt, which I didn't pay for by the way. I bought a ticket for
No, I think we all pirated it.
Yeah.
Or Steve did. Yeah, no. Yeah, fuck Spyglass,
Yeah, I wanted to mention
Free
that.
Palestine.
Yeah, free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
But yeah, no, I thought 7 was like super just middle of the road, just boring decisions by and large, and also like really strange decisions. And like starting with like the beginning of the movie, like I felt like that opening sequence felt like it was a cut opening from a different Scream movie because I felt like it wasn't connected to anything that ends up happening later in the movie.
I have thoughts about that too. I have thoughts about that. But just my own like initial thoughts as we're deep. We'll start with that when we all give our initial thoughts because it's a really great part to open up the beginning of the movie,
Right.
But my general thoughts on 7, as we've gone along. If you told me like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whenever we started this, it's been like 11. This is like week 11, right? Isn't it? It's crazy. That you told me like, what did you think of the Scream franchise? Like that's outside the ones I don't like, 5 and 6. It's a really strong series, really strong franchise, But now I realize that all the sequels are pretty bad to varying degrees. Some are less bad than others, but they're all, I would say, needless sequels. Like they're not strong. There's some character thought put into them, but they just kind of circle around the same kind of beats, the same kind of performances and themes. Like nothing really grabs you, in my opinion. And this is more of the same. And people, I've seen people bring up like terms of quality and like, oh, this one has less to say. And that's true, but it's not that much worse. You know, the other ones, I would say, will gesture at like topics, gesture at subject matter, and even if they don't give a shit about it, or even if they just fumble it really badly in a way that makes the opposite message than what they're trying to say. 6 and 3. Um, the This one says nothing, and I think that's the rub here. It doesn't say anything at all. It's purely about this is what the character is doing now, and then there's killings, and then that's it. That's the level that the thought the writing thought goes to, which is a shame because this series, even at its worst, had some ambition, you know, at least in some places. And this is just so safe and so generic, and I'm gonna say afraid to say anything at all. You know, that's me. What's your thoughts, Tony?
Okay, so my thoughts to kind of build off of what Zane and yourself have just said. It's interesting to hear that coming from you, Elvis, because from the beginning, right? Like you sold yourself a lot more as a Scream fan, right? And
Yes.
like, and you were excited to do this, right? And now we're
Yes.
at the end, and you're defeated, right? And in some kind of way, like I was always holding this position. I was always in this position where I was like, the sequels aren't really that great. The first one's amazing. I like the fifth and the sixth one still, right? I will still go to bat for those ones, but I like those as horror movies, as fun camp, you know? I don't enjoy those as like a continuation of the Scream franchise, and I roll my eyes endlessly at like the climax in six. But the problems that are present in seven exist solely within the march of time, aging. This is a franchise that has a rot that's built into it because it's been the same problems that have existed since the second one. And because they've decided to go back rather than going forward, they're actually digging deeper into that rot. And that rot I'm speaking about is, self-flagellation. It's this idea that like its own mythology is this thing that needs to be poured over and worshipped in this way. The fact that like Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox are these important people that need to always be in every entry is simply not true, right? And the fact that this movie makes makes a much ado about how, oh, like the last one didn't count, like it's said in dialogue several times. And instead, when you're watching this all play out, you're realizing very quickly that like even in that last one, when it was at its worst, like I didn't feel as shameful as I do now watching this one, where everything feels like it's on such autopilot. And you really have to give credit to Kevin Williamson, who feels completely checked out at this point, who no longer has any kind of insight on the horror genre itself, and instead is caught up in the moment. He kind of wants to do like an AI commentary meets like something like Gone Girl, where there's like an interaction with the media and individuals in the street. It doesn't feel like it's interested in the horror genre. And the last thing I'll say before we hand it off to Doug is that the first movie was all about Halloween. I keep on coming back to this. The first film was all about like how do we tie in this film with the roots of horror as a genre itself. And you can really feel that now more than ever that this film is just completely out of step with all of the other modern horror films being made. In a Violent Nature is getting a sequel. Like we are in a very different place in terms of horror, and stuff like this is quaint. This is your grandpa's horror film, and Scream is now embracing that vibe, and I feel like that goes exactly against what Wes Craven was going for, trying to shake up the horror genre with the first film.
You're not wrong, and it really kind of gets right at you with the big 7. Like seeing Scream with a 7 just feels wrong. It just feels wrong. But before we get to Doug, I do want to just bring up we got a comment by Captain Rhodes 2. I think 5 is the only sequel to match the multi-layered meta commentary of the original. I'll give it props for trying. I mean, I'm well documented on trying. I just don't think it actually has anything to say. And in fact, what it does say is very cowardly. Very cowardly. But thanks for the comment. If you want more of our thoughts on 5, we spoke like 2 hours and a half on it. So you can can have fun listening to that. But Doug, what's your thoughts on 7?
I'm kind of on a similar place with all you guys, like especially you, Elvis, where like went into this as a Scream fan, excited to like see, except for like before this started, to me, in my mind, like 6 was the only one that I didn't care for, and I was like, yeah, mostly otherwise pretty solid run, and then pretty immediately into the rewatches start to see the cracks. Like as soon as you get to 2, you see that they're just
Who I
beating.
thought was so good before this.
I know. I was like, wow, what a fun. I used to think that opening was great, and then I was cringing watching it now. I was like, oh my god, Kevin Williams, who don't write black people. But
Sister Soldier.
but it's like, yeah, they've just been. There's been a. They don't want to like try new things or like try to evolve it. The best that Scream has to offer is when it tries to kind of update, if even if it doesn't have as strong an anchor point as Tony pointed out, is like Halloween. It's like, what are the origins of horror? At least the other like there's ones like 4, which I think at least has something to say about the state of horror and like the youth culture around it at that time. And I feel like you need that much of a break between iterations to kind of like reset so you can have some kind of fresh take on it. And yeah, but like once these, you know, similar to like the original movies, like once there's some success, you kind of just have to keep the train rolling. So that's like once 5 happened, and like that wasn't even as successful compared to other ones, but it made enough money where they're, you know, Miramax is like, okay, let's get the engine fired back up again. And like that's the same problem that the other ones ran into. And now, just like, you know, we'll talk more about all the behind the scenes stuff. It's like even without all that contributing to like the form we got, I feel like it's just a franchise it's run out of steam. It's run out of ideas. It just doesn't want to challenge itself, or like Tony said, like we're in a world where In a Violent Nature is getting a sequel. There's about to be 4 Terrifier movies. Like I feel like if Wes Craven was around, he'd want to comment at least on like the popularity of that stuff. So yeah, where is any of that? It's not anywhere. Like this is some bullshit.
Yeah, but so I totally agree with what you're saying, Doug. I think we're of a mind here, and it's so shocking, you know, because if it's not about horror, and what Tony says as well, it wants to stick its wheels onto these characters, that these characters are important, that they're characters that are worth seeing just for what their lives are. It's so weird that Williamson, even if he can't meet the horror moment, why is he not meeting like the drama either? Like this guy is a guy who, in addition to Scream, you know, made his bones on like teen soaps, and like so where is any of that? You know, this is a movie that just doesn't make any choices that contribute to like actual heft to it, and I'm not sure why. Like there's some choices they make that are definitely in rejection of certain tense or suspense because it wants to keep one thing in mind. But then other things like, why isn't there anything more here? Why aren't you spending more time on this? And there's no clear answer. And I think maybe lack of time or just lack of care. Yeah, Captain Road says, yeah, 7 feels like a teen soap. And I feel like it doesn't, I wish it did. We just watched 2 seasons of a teen soap.
It doesn't feel like it cares about the teens at all.
Exactly. It doesn't. It just wants to mime it. And like, where's the guy who made Dawson's Creek? Because we just saw 2.5 seasons of a teen soap based on Scream, and that had more drama pouring out of its ears than this does.
What's interesting with this film is that like it presents itself as a teen soap. Like it has teen characters. There's an ensemble of teens in this movie, but they are never fleshed out because the focus is always on Sydney. And the idea is that Tatum is this, perfect being that can't be put in danger, and thus all of her friends has to suffer. It's a really transparent plot device, and it feels cheap the entire film. Zane, I heard you saying yes. If you
I was just agreeing. Like it fails to like act as like a torch passing kind of movie from one generation to the next. Like the entire like side cast like really are super super unused. Like people just disappear for like great swaths of the film, and like in a frustrating way.
Yeah, and I feel like that's again, like I mentioned, I mentioned, maybe I mentioned off screen, but this isn't really, none of the problems movie has are unique to this movie. These are problems that every Scream movie has had, dating back to two. Like we don't like two even has this insane issue where it has an ensemble cast, but what is Sydney's roommate's name?
Roommate.
It doesn't care about the ensemble cast. Scream from day one on Scream 2, it decided Dewey, Gale, and Sydney. Those are the only three that matter, and no one else matters. And that's something that was completely against what made first one work, because there's all these dynamics going on. They use an ensemble cast because everyone's bouncing off each other. They're very distinct personalities, just clashing. And then by two, like Mickey's in like two scenes. Derek, the less said, the better. Sydney's roommate, whose name is Hallie, I think I googled it the other day. Hallie is there just as a prop against Sydney. I think she has maybe like one line, and then the sorority subplot for some reason. It just doesn't care about any of that shit, and that's an issue that all of them have had. And then
yes, but this one's actually worse because what it's doing is, like in Scream 2 and 3 and 4, what they were always trying to do was they were trying to find a reason to make the audience believe that everybody was expendable.
Exactly.
Right? And this movie is coming out and saying like, okay, and now we're going to set in stone, these are the characters who are not expendable.
Exactly.
Right? And that completely undermines the entire franchise in this movie specifically, right?
Yeah.
So I really like, I don't understand why they went in this direction other than the spite surrounding the film.
Oh, it's definitely the spite. But I want to add on to what you're saying. You made a really great point. Like, these are the people who are expendable. Like, they matter even less. And you're right. This one does set in stone. Everyone's again gestured toward, we're meant to care about what's her name? Tara's roommate, who was characterized with like the thinnest characterization possible. Or some shit like that. But this one, like, we don't even matter. They don't even matter at all. But what makes it worse is because even in those, like, we're also not meant to just wonder if who's gonna bite it, but also who could it be, right? All right. But this movie, and this is like the killing blow, because you could build everything off of this movie in different directions if it weren't for this one thing, okay? That it really kind of wants the audience to think it's possible that Stu is the killer. So it doesn't want to entertain any other option.
I can't wait to talk about this. This is my favorite thing. Like, I've been excited. I've been chomping at the bit to talk about it.
It wants us to entertain that, but then it's also way more, I feel like, than the others, trying to like lean into some kind of procedural vibe. Like when Sydney and Gale like go follow leads, like they never do that in other movies where they go to other locations and question people and stuff like they're cops or something. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening now?
That's just an excuse to bring in the other killer, because otherwise he would not show up in the fucking movie.
And I still don't know why he's in the movie.
But that's insane because it kind of kneecaps, it hobbles the entire film, because it gives the surrounding cast even less to do. Because even then, you would have like, is Portia de Rossi and Rebecca Gayheart? I mean, they act kind of weird in that one scene. Could they be the killer? It robs these characters even that. Because you can't have that, because then that would deflate the but it could be Stu stuff, and it prioritizes that for some reason. And it's like, you are making your own movie worse to have this stupid twist.
Yeah, I'm just learning now that Sydney's daughter's friends have names. I'm looking at IMDb, and I was like, oh wow, apparently her friend's name is Hannah.
Which one is that?
the one who's Egon's granddaughter.
Oh my god!
Oh right,
the one with the lamest death that could have been cool if they went farther with it.
When they started to do it, I was like, are we about to see something cool? And then even Ghostface during that sequence seems like he's running out of steam, kind of just wants to get the kill over with.
Exactly. Like I thought. Okay, we'll get to that. We're going to go on kind of chronological order, but I want to mention some comments here Captain Rhodes is doing. All right. What the hell is Ethan Embry's motive? They never explain it. You're right. They don't. I guess he just wanted to be a part of something.
He was a
Peer pressure.
laid off Google AI engineer or something.
Peer pressure. He is very susceptible to peer pressure. Looks like Stu.
Is Ethan Embry the name of the guy who works at the mental
He's the
asylum? Is that
actor.
his name?
That's his
Oh,
actor's
he's
name.
the actor.
That's
Oh,
the actor's
got it.
name. 'Cause who knows what his real name is?
Yeah, gun in my head. I couldn't tell you the character.
Mhm.
Zane, you know his name?
I do not.
Marco.
I just,
Marco, according to IMDb.
About Trami? This movie sucks.
You were saying, Zane?
Oh, I've just recognized him from like older movies. I've not seen him
Yeah, he's in
recently.
Can't Hardly Wait. He can't hardly wait.
Mhm.
He's the kid from Dutch. That's also true.
When he came on screen, right, and like they were doing the exposition scene with Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox, like they kept on like lingering on him, where he's just like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know. You know, like I'm like, oh, this guy's the killer. What do you mean? Like, I'm not born yesterday. Like,
And the fact of the matter is, they can't introduce him earlier, and they can't use him later because then that would deflate. Who could it be, Stu? And it's like, why is this important?
I wanted to get a little back to the Stu thing because, like, I
Take it away.
love.
Take it away.
Okay, because first off, right? Because like Matthew Lillard has been kind of on like this like teddy bear tour, I want to call it, you know, where like he wants to like be the next Brendan Fraser, and I just feel like it's not really happening, you know, like it just doesn't feel like it's not fully there, and like you'll get those things where it's like, oh, I'm upset about what Quentin Tarantino said about me, and like some people are like, yeah, it does suck, man, I agree, and I my sympathy is with you, but then he's in fucking Scream 7, you know, like. After everything that happens in the news, right? He reads everything that happened with Melissa Barrera, everything that happened with Jenna Ortega. He was just in The Life of Chuck, right? He doesn't need to be back in this franchise for whatever reason.
He's got Shaggy money. He doesn't need this.
Yes, Shaggy money. Exactly. It's separate life.
And for whatever reason, he decides that he's going to be back in this film. And the only way they can get him back is to have these cell phone, in quotation, recordings. And it definitely looked like they were shot on a cell phone. It's the craziest phoned in cameo performance I've ever seen.
It is literally cameo, TM.
It's literally phoned in.
and I love how inconsistent it is, because like the first time you see him, he's got like these like he's got makeup on to make him look as if he's like come back from the dead.
Yeah, like he's scarred. I guess the TV scarred him all over his body.
And then the next time you see him, he's like completely fine. It's just Matthew Lillard. And then every time he ends the call, his finger goes towards the screen as if he's touching a phone, but he's like 5 feet away from the camera. So it just looks really awkward. It's awesome.
It literally looks like cameo. Like, I think you could have gone a better looking thing by just having him like use the app, you know, use the cameo app. It's insane. And you're right. Like, this is just a thankless, vain role. It's a vain role. He's not hurting for money. It's like, oh, they want Stu back. I always want to come back as Stu. The one thing that people remember of the first one. Why is this like a comeback tour for people who left off on a high? You know, I think 4 is a masterpiece. Kevin Williamson writes something that is still very relevant and still very hard-hitting to this day. To write something that means nothing. Lillard comes back for like 60 seconds total to mug even worse than, I don't know, you know, than the worst muggy acting.
Than Scooby-Doo.
Exactly. And then why does this exist? But let's get into it. Okay, we'll be here all day. Let's get into it. So, scene 1, act 1, the prologue here. I just said prologue. We have Jimmy Tatro and some actress who I'm glad I don't know the name of because I don't want to, you know, besmirch her by saying her name. But Jimmy Tatro, he's been around, so I recognize him.
Yeah, disappointing to see him in this. I really liked American Vandal.
Yeah, and he's fun in a lot of things he does. But like,
I like Theater Camp. That was a good one. He was good in that one.
He's consistently good, and yet the limits of this movie are felt from the very beginning. When I'm not going to say every intro is a winner. Okay, there's been some rough intros, but they're usually like an excuse to, you know, show some sort of character, and his character is Stab fan, and that's it. That's where that begins and ends. And I think I very well recognized. I think that Stab is a failed concept in this franchise. I think it's only worked once and has never worked ever again. And it was a bad idea to begin with. And this is like kryptonite to me. It's like poison to my ears. It's like everything they wanted to create like an intro that hurt me specifically. It's this one because like Stab was so cool. Here are the Stab posters. Let's quote Stab. I want to die. You were going to say, Tony? I'm done.
Yeah, I was interested actually in hearing what Zane would have to say about that because, like, similar to what you were just saying, Elvis, like you have like this personal connection to this franchise in terms of like your personal enjoyment, and Zane was saying like Scream 1 and 2 meant so much to them, right? So it's like I wonder, Zane, like what's seeing this intro like when you're getting all of this like Stab nostalgia?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. Like it felt weird. There were aspects I liked about it. I liked the little cards that they had around the house. You know what I mean? Yeah, it wasn't like saying anything that they hadn't said better in other movies. You know what I mean? One of the things that like was distracting to me, and it's a common complaint that I have throughout the whole movie, and I've seen a couple people say online also, is one of the shots like of the car driving up to the house was like pitch black in the theater that I saw. Like this movie was very dark across the board, and I felt that the intro kind of had some of that problem because when I think of Scream, I think of like kind of bright lighting. Like the first movie is very bright. And especially like inside the house, like when you got like Stu and Billy like hugging on each other and stuff, like it's very like brightly lit. And that was almost like a distracting feeling from a technical level throughout the intro for me. But like thematically, like story wise, like it does what it needs to do in introducing the movie, but it feels to me totally disconnected and empty, you know, like and that's just sort of how I felt across the entire like pre-title card intro.
I totally felt the technical inconsistency throughout the entire film, and especially early on here, because like I cam ripped this movie. Hate to say it, guys. You know, sorry FBI if you're listening, but you know what you're watching certain scenes, like you getting the moment where like the ghost face mask comes from the shadows, and like
Mhm.
it's just a little too dark. Like I'm watching the camera, but I know that it's too dark, and like like there's moments like this throughout the whole film from like a technical aspect and then also from tonal aspects. There's a moment later where like somebody gets impaled on a beer knob, right, where like the, you know, where you pull down and you're able to pour the glass in a bar, and like they go down on the top of the pyre and then they pull it down and then like beer comes out of their mouth, and it just doesn't make any sense. And like you can see that like there's just a lack of consideration from like a directorial standpoint. Like Kevin Williamson is very clearly not a filmmaker, but he is a screenwriter in that kind of differentiation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. Doug, what's your take on this on this intro?
I mean, like I said, I enjoy Jimmy Tatro. He doesn't really have anything unique to his talents to do here. Like, there's nothing to his character. There was a point where like it like kept doing a bunch of fake out scares to the girlfriend, where I was like, okay, I am enjoying the pacing of this a little bit, in the way of like my favorite sequence from 5 is when the character Wes is like walking through his house after Judy's already been killed, and they keep doing like the sting of like he pulls open the refrigerator and then there's nothing behind the cabinet when he closes it, and then he finally gets killed. But that scene has a better payoff. I feel like the payoff here is just
Murder happens.
I'm just ready for them to get it over with by the time it happens. And that kind of speaks to like the energy. Like you could like, I feel like people who want to present this movie as more clever, like who are like just inhaling massive coke, will probably be like, oh, they're commenting on Scream fandom in this open. I'm like, well, what's the comment? Because like the Scream fans will eat up any slop that's low effort, because like this like this little, you know, Stumacher B&B thing is like, it does seem like a little cheap. Like the phone call that she gets initially is like kind of low effort, and they enjoy it. He enjoys it still because he's a fan. And I'm like, okay, well, there could be something to that if they like expanded on that idea of like how fan expectations get so low. But the movie doesn't, as it interesting comment on that, and wants to cater to those low expectations. It's like, actually, here you go. Here's the slop.
Exactly. And so people will say, "Oh, see, like he's burning down the old Scream to make way for the new." Except the entire movie is about how the old Scream should stick around and we should not progress. So, what is it? It kind of feels like Scream 6 again, where you'll have, well, Scream 6 is a way better intro, but they both land the same place where we're going to make a bold visual or thematic statement, and it turns out the movie does not give a shit about it at all. So, so what is the point? And my idea, I know Tony seems like he's raring to go, but what my idea?
Oh,
yeah, he's the cause, you know. But no, my idea is that back in 4, Williamson did not think he was doing a soft reboot. 4 was like, oh, we're gonna take aim at remakes. That's the perfect time to do this. And then we have 5, which was trying to do a legacy sequel. And my thing is that this is Kevin Williamson going, if I want to do like a legacy sequel, a soft reboot, this is how it should open. And he was like, oh, that'd be so cool. And he never let go of that idea. And like, this is my chance to do it. And so he did it without knowing how it would fit anywhere else. He just wanted to do it because this would be a really cool thing to do if I brought Scream back, like as for a new generation.
yeah,
he just did it. He just did it.
There's something sincere about this whole film, right? Like, because there is no like commentary on slashers, modern day slashers. It's so much focused on just the franchise itself. So like the opening feels like you're watching Disney adults, and rather than like any kind of meaningful interaction between these people or tension between their conversation, it's just like obsession with things that have already been shown in the past. Essentially, like the movie Scream 6 ended with like a whole museum of things from the prior entries, and then we're starting this movie with that exact same concept. It's very strange. And like as we've said, we like this lead actor, he's very good, but like when you're watching this like sequence where we know that Ghostface is going to pop up from anywhere, like we know that it's going to come from this mechanized thing. And then when like there's the whole killing aspect of it all and burning of the house down, there's this moment where we're supposed to be like, wow, that was epic. But like it's also weightless and done in like your standard blockbuster horror film way, rather than your In a Violent Natures or your Terrifiers, which like I have my own problems with the Terrifier series, but at least if this franchise was attempting to comment on those, then I would have a bit more respect for them. But instead, it's so much about this. And it's emblematic of the whole film in this opening sequence. It's very stark.
I would agree. I think that touches on something that I kind of feel with the project as a whole, and also like kind of like you said with the museum sequence in the last one, is I feel like a bit of a problem with some modern horror, not all modern horror, but some. There's almost a self-worship and self-congratulation aspect to it that wasn't present in some older franchises. Like, if anything, older franchises often would just completely pretend that the other sequels didn't even exist. Like huge inconsistencies in like facts and details about how even like the powers of like a killer would work. Leprechaun comes to mind, where he's got different powers in every movie, and like he gives a different age in several movies and stuff like that. And so like I find it a bit strange, and maybe it's just a side effect of the internet and how we engage with movies now, like how
you
that's
can't let anything go.
Yeah.
You can't even recast people anymore.
Culture.
They need to validate that everything matters. Like even the ones that people universally almost agree of, like, yeah, 3, whatever. They're like, no, all of it. It matters.
It's all been leading to this, says the trailer.
Yeah, to what?
To
what? Ethan Embry?
No, to Tatum, the how old she is, and whatever her personality is. What is her personality?
So
What is-
yeah, I mean, let's just keep going because we'll get to Tatum and like where was she?
But before we get there, though, you invoked Ethan Embry, and I just wanted to say, do you think that he was cast because his hairline was similar to Matthew Lillard's, and that would make the deep fake scenario in quotations more believable because at least his hairline matched?
I think it was cast from the '90s. You know,
Yeah, because he's like Chevy Chase's kid in Vacation, right? Like,
can't hardly wait. No, he's kind of. I think because Kim Williams like, I haven't worked for this '90s teen. I should get my chance now.
well, it's another thing for people who recognize who are just
Old.
ODing on nostalgia of like, yeah, here you know him.
He was famous when these movies were famous. You know,
the
Speaking
90s.
of, like, weren't they trying to like cash in on the nostalgia too with the soundtrack as well?
okay, so we made fun of this before, and again, for as horrible as the show is, and as great as 4 is, I'm not sure why Williamson saw this was done well before, but the 4 and the show has had great restraint in not bringing back Nick Cave's Red Right Hand. And I mentioned the moment that it happened in this movie, and it was so clearly going to happen in this movie, I would die of embolism, and I did. I'm a ghost now. It was so stupid, and it's like the stupid. Like, 4 didn't even do it. You did the wrong thing that you did right before. How can you be this dumb?
I appreciate the restraint that they didn't just play Red Right Hand every scene. I thought it was going to open every scene. With
That's what 6 did. 6 played it 3 times, man.
I thought it was going to be like a Birdman scenario where Nick Cave would just be in sequences and the camera would pan by him, you know?
I ran into him in public one time and it was terrifying.
Oh, please elaborate. Come on,
that's
crazy.
I was in the Strand bookstore in New York and I just go around a corner and suddenly I'm on the same aisle as him and we briefly make eye contact and I was like, oh, that's Nick Cave. And I didn't know what to do, so I just turned around.
You
and
said it
walked away.
out loud. He was like, wow, everything.
He ended up writing a song about it later, just being like, eye contact in the book aisle.
I would have been like, I love your script that got here too. You really thought should have done it instead of what he did. But yeah, no, like it's the incidental music is very like, let's play the hits for some reason, and like it just feels old. This movie feels old and ragged and tired. But anything else about the prologue before we move on to the first 2 characters that we meet, who are the most amazing, thought out, depthy characters the series ever seen? Tatum and worse Derek.
I was just about to say, we keep invoking all the Dereks in the franchise. Like he won up. He's like more boring than Derek.
Derek, yeah. The fact that we got Derek, and then we've had like better Derek. Derek has always been improving on the series franchise. Like, no, let's make him better. Let's see. Let's build this guy up as like a real good archetype for this series. And then we get this guy who I can't remember his name. Did they mention it once? Colin? Harold? What is it?
I just knew him as Frosted Tips. Like, that's what he looked like to me.
He's a guy who looks weirdly like Christopher Reeve from the Fablemans. Because right, he look in that movie, he looks exactly like Christopher Reeve. It's uncanny. And in this one, he looks like a 30-year-old man trying to look like an 18-year-old. And it's uncanny.
he looks like that 30-year-old, like, no, you know that like the TikTok meme where it's like the
so many
37-year-old who looks like that he's an 18-year-old. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
He looks so wrinkled in every scene. Like, oh my god! No wonder Sydney is afraid of him because he looks like a fucking creep every scene. His characterization doesn't, also doesn't.
His
help.
name is Ben Brown.
Ben Brown. What a fucking generic name for a generic character. Because he's nothing.
Oh, he was the bully in Fablemans. That's where I recognize him. That's a great role. He was good in that.
He was good in that, and that was like 10 years ago when he was playing 18-year-old. Now he's not. He's not playing that age anymore for some reason. He's still, so he looks so ragged, and his character is nothing. None of these ensemble characters are anything. But he's meant to be like, oh, could he be the new Billy? But again, you did this before in Scream 4. You did this exact thing. You homage we're gonna walk up into the bedroom window scene. You did it before already. But you're doing it again now because now Williams like, oh, that was because of the remake, but now we're trying to do a legacy sequel, so you have to echo and everything got a rhyme. But you did it before already. And it was a fake out then too. It's a fake out here.
This is the third time Scream has reset to do a legacy sequel, like not reset the continuity, but in terms of like kind of like reset the board, because like 4 did it before legacy sequels were even a thing. The best version of that in this series, because it actually, I think the legacy
Had
something
to do with it.
Yeah, the young characters were actually interesting too. And then 5, they did that again. I had my complaints about that, making everyone be related to the legacy characters. But in hindsight, that holds up way better than this, because there's like nothing here.
Yeah, it's just like my main thing with this character, right? Because I'm assuming like as we move into like the next scenes, we're just gonna run out of things to say about this movie because it gets really bland really quick. But the thing with this character is that like when it's revealed that he's playing around with the deepfake technology, I'm like, I don't care if you are or are not Ghostface, like get out of here. Like I don't want you anywhere close to any of these characters, not trustworthy whatsoever.
He called her mom a bitch. I would have stabbed him too.
Yeah, like we're supposed to forgive him just because he's not Ghostface. Like I think he just sucks and is boring.
Right? Like, why are you trying to make yourself look like Matthew Lillard of all people?
Like my girlfriend's mom is a bitch. You don't let me bang her. I'm like, what the fuck is that video even about? He could have said anything, but he says those things. It's crazy.
Yeah, he says to the mom, he iterates like when she kicks him out, he's like, I'm a good guy. And I thought like, oh, well, they could start to do, even though we've already done versions of the boyfriend as a killer, we could still, even if he's not the killer, like iterate on some kind of like incel culture thing of like, I'm a good guy, let me fuck. But the movie's not interested. The movie, I was on his side. It exonerates, I already forgot his name, Ben. Like Ben, the movie seems to think Ben's all right.
Yeah, no, it's horrifyingly bad taste in regards to that. Like, he's not well-rounded enough to be interesting or likable. So all we know about him is that he wants to bang and that he thinks his girlfriend's mom is a bitch. So,
well, she won't let him bang.
Right. So. I love how we're skipping ahead because Ben has like only one other notable scene where he and Tatum are like going at it in the back stage area of that thing of the play, and she's like, "What do you like about me?" And he's like, "So many things." And like, fuck you. You just want to fuck. This guy sucks. He's so like, oh, he died, and he was like, he could have been a good guy. He wasn't a killer. Well, fantastic.
Joel McHale should have ran his ID. He's like, your boyfriend's like 30.
He's my age. We look the same age.
I think with him also, it's a further extent of the general problem that the movie has of like not only lacking identity, but like as itself as a standalone movie, but like lacking a core through line of thought where they touch on like a lot of ideas, but then like don't continue them into like an actual like proper theme. Like him coming through the window is like an echo, of course, of like the first movie, but then they don't really do much with that beyond that, you know what I mean? And so I find it strange to like touch on that and start to build a theme, and then we just don't follow that up, and then we start with another theme, and then we don't follow that up.
Again, that's because they can't touch on it more because then that would make Ben a suspect. But you can't have it been a suspect because Stu, the dead Stu, has to be a suspect. It
causes a lot of problems in the movie. The Stu stuff does.
Exactly. So if you get rid of that, the movie gets a lot better. Now, should it be better and should people like it? I don't care. Really that much. It should bomb. It should have been made regardless. But this movie shoots itself in its own foot. And here's another comment from Captain Rhodes. Thank you. Wasn't Billy like, I want to bang her mom, mom's a bitch too? Checkmate. Yes, Billy sucks. And the best version of Billy is Charlie from 4. Because Charlie's an insult freak. Like Billy was always at heart. Yeah. So,
But then we get the introduction to Nev Campbell in the sequence, right? And like you can tell she's acting her ass off for no reason. And
right.
it's like, what are you doing here, right?
Like it's shocking because you can tell, like, okay, you know what? Okay, Nev Campbell, horrible person. I'm going to assume, allegedly, based on how she's handled this entire Scream debacle, which I think is not very flattering to her at all, and she, in many ways. But it is kind of shocking. This whenever she's like with any of the teens, including her daughter, it's like, and it's parts of the script, but also like these kids are so fucking bland as actors, and then she's like, actually, she has the weight of like Sydney. Like she feels like Sydney. Sydney is like a great role, I think, that she embodies. And then you have like, but I could go out the front door, Mrs. Evans. Shoot me in the fucking face.
And here's the thing, Elvis, you're right that she feels like Sydney. Sydney is overall a great character, but they've ran out of things for Sydney to like. Her arc has been over since 4, right? So like the only idea they have for her is like, okay, what if she's Jamie Lee Curtis in the David Gordon Green?
Not even that.
How not even to that degree of like the tamer, like she's just overprotective. She's not even like a survivalist. Like she's just like slightly overbearing. So like I don't know, maybe how you can imagine Jamie Lee Curtis was earlier on before she maybe she went off the deep end before those movies started.
This is something that like I was thinking this entire time. I think that we were talking about this before you even hopped on, before we recorded, Doug. But like this movie clearly wants to be the David Gordon Green, Jamie Lee Curtis kind of legacy sequel where you're bringing them back. But like while Nev Campbell is certainly acting and trying, she is not like doing the same things as Jamie Lee Curtis in that film. Like it is a situation where it's just repeating that. So like she's not like in any position put in danger. It's always the friends of Tatum. And so she's meant to react to those things. And what I was saying before about like her acting her ass off, I don't even necessarily mean that in a complimentary sense. I mean that in the sense that you can really see her trying. You can really like, if there's a scene that's calling for her to run to the car and pull on the door, right? Like she's really doing that. Like she's really into that moment. And you can tell that like she's really invested in this film specifically. And we'll get into like the stuff around this film later on, right? But when it comes to her, it's like, there's a big moment where like she puts on her leather jacket, and I'm like, who cares about the leather jacket, right?
It's the same shit as not to keep invoking Ghostbusters, but they do have 2 Ghostbusters Afterlife people in this cast. But it's almost like in that movie where it takes every single item from the original as sacred, like Peter gives Egon like a fucking candy bar, and so the candy bar in the jumpsuit is like, oh, he still has a candy bar. Why? The candy bar's from the 80s. Why would he still have that?
It's safe, it's easy, nostalgic, but we already did this before. There's been 3 movies about this kind of stuff, and it just feels insecure. Like Williamson going, but I want to do my version. I need to do it. It needs to be me.
But he already wrote Scream 4, which was the legacy sequel. So it was like,
but like, he didn't mean to do it. He wrote obviously a great sequel, but he didn't mean to do it. He wanted it to be, he wants it his own stamp on it, and that's what it feels like. This feels like people like who really feel like they missed the boat, and they want like their comeback on it. And it's like, okay, 1, that could be valid, but 2, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. So I think let's just talk about Tatum, because Tatum's in this scene too. And
she is, I guess, yeah.
She is, and I can't describe Tatum. I can't. I don't know how to, where to begin.
She's named after Sydney's best friend.
Who was a horrible who was a horrible person. Who was
Who I
terrible.
feel like was never Sydney never mentions her after one. The only call we get a call back, we see a picture of her in like Dewey's like trailer in 5, like to kind of remind you of like, oh yeah, that was Dewey's sister. he's been losing people to this since the beginning. But like it almost seemed like Sydney like forgot about like Tatum who.
One thing on that, when I saw it, there's that, not to get too far, but there's that line near the end where Sydney says, "You're named after Tatum," and she was so strong. And a woman sitting in front of me said to her friend, "Was she?"
No, she was not. She was a terrible, she was a horrible person too. And like she's like, oh, I love Billy's incel charms. Like that scene always makes me like seriously.
Yeah, it's just like the problem with Tatum is that they're trying to do like I think about movies from like the late 2000s, early 2010s, right? Like The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, right? Like fucking what's the one? Fucking Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. When you've got like the younger person who's trying to take over the mantle, but it's not quite time yet. You know, I'm still with it. You know, it's got that same energy to it, and it's like.
But this is more like the last Indiana Jones, where it's like, no, the old guy still matters. Fuck, fuck, trying to do the young generation.
My God, died in Vietnam. Tatum died in Iran.
Oh, Jesus, timely.
This can age well, you know.
Just like Scream 7.
It's timeless, yeah. But you know, like Tatum is, yeah, okay. Scott Rhodes is a great idea. Why not name her Hallie? You know what? Ballad. You know, like because that would be fucking amazing. She named
and then fans would be like, who?
Who was that?
They're like doing like algebra in their mind.
People have to
like,
pretend to care about Hallie. Then, like, oh yes, Hallie's very
Hallie's
important.
a friend that Nev forgot. I was like Sydney. I forgot Sydney's name for a second. Yeah, Hallie is a friend people forgot. You know. Because she's
Hallie
also...
McDaniel, put some respect on the name.
McDaniel, is that really, or do you make that up?
That's on the wiki, I guess. And then other names when it's under aliases. Candyman's daughter, analogy by Randy. I don't remember Randy saying that, but that's racist. Like,
No.
why did Randy say that?
No, he didn't say that. He said it, but he was talking about generic slasher villains. So whoever that wiki is racist.
Yeah.
You're not talking about the black chick, you racist editor. No, she does have other daughters, so maybe Hallie and Jennifer Jolie got named after.
Where is the other? Because she has the baby in was it 5 when she gets the call?
No, they have one line that isn't set up where he's like, you called your mom. Like, yeah, the other two are safe. You know, so I guess they're at the mother-in-law's house.
I watched this with my aunt, and that totally went over her head. Also, by the end of the movie, she was like, "What about the other kids?" Like, so that's seemingly
it's like one line. They even bring it up before, like, oh, I guess everyone else is at the grandmother's house. They don't mention all just that one thing. Like, you call your grandma, your mother, like, we're supposed to assume that she has other kids. One, because unless you saw these 5 and 6, you don't know if she has other kids at all, and also that they would be there. It's it's so dumb and it's so lazy. Because why not have little kids in danger? You know. I mean, wait, no, you probably don't want to do that because the Spyglass be like, no, that's Aunt.
But then it would be too much like Terrifier, right?
Yeah.
And then it would be too much like actually like what's happening in modern horror films, and whether or not that's like something they wanted to comment on, they could have done that. You know,
it'd be too much like what's happening to Palestine, where children are killed every day. So,
there you go.
I was gonna say like no, I don't know. I should say that. But yeah, no, Tatum is a character that can't grow because the movie doesn't want her to grow. It still wants her to be in like an infantile place for Sydney. Sydney has to have an arc of like, you have to let Tatum grow. It means that Tatum can't by necessity grow by the end of this because it's Sydney who has to learn to let go. So Tatum has to already be grown, but also not be able to grow. And so basically she's supposed to be a blank slate that we see Sydney project on, and Sydney is right until she's wrong. And so
but then
Tim-
ultimately projecting and trying to make her daughter be another her is the correct solution. Like it almost would have been better if the movie ends with like it's like Tatum. No, Tatum is not Sydney
A fighter.
Prescott. Like yes,
She
yes,
dies.
either she dies or she just can't. She can't do it. She maybe like has a Shinji from Evangelion moment where she just crumbles under the pressure.
Exactly. She freezes up. Yeah. Something like that would be interesting. This movie's not interesting. Be interesting. Now we can do like, oh, super cool Scream 8 where they're both kicking gas. You know,
I would have loved it if there was a sequence where Tatum was just choking Sydney, and that was the final image of the film. Like, Doug, I think you're really onto something there.
Evangelion. Most franchises need to go the Evangelion.
Yeah, no, she
route.
snaps.
Right?
You know,
But-
Sydney versus her daughter for 8.
I want to shift this conversation over a little. Oh, did we? Oh, boom, we're good. When it comes to shifting the conversation a little bit to somebody different, Joel McHale, right? I
Oh
wanna bring up
boy.
him, right? And
Oh.
and I want to say right now, right? Like personally,
Thankless.
I never bought him as a cop, and one of the things that always made me laugh about him was the black undershirt he was wearing in every
Yes,
scene.
he seems so stuffy.
Yes, like it just seems like something was off in
Is he
every scene.
old?
I'm just like,
Is he
what's
too
going
old?
on here?
Does he have
And also another thing too is like Joel McHale usually has he puts a little bit of sauce on every line, right? Like he's one of those actors who will go a little extra further than you think he would, right? And this film felt like he was definitely reserved, which was like very strange for him. Was I the only one who felt this way?
Well,
No,
I think the
100%.
choice was if he's not putting the sauce, because normally he comes off as like smarmy and above it all. So they want to make him. I think their fix is like, okay, he needs to be a more sincere, serious character that we take serious. So we'll just have him hold back, but then that just makes him bland.
boring.
Yeah.
Makes him fucking boring. You know, you're right. All that came up to mind immediately. Like first we see him like in bed. And like, oh, it's nice. They have little friendly marriage chit chat. There's a fun joke in there. And next morning, next scene immediately, it's at breakfast. He has a turtleneck and he has his sheriff outfit on. And he's like, I'm 50 years old. And like, does he have a turkey neck that he's scared of? What the hell is going on? And he looks like someone stuffed like their Woody action figure doll to make him look buff, like in Toy Story 2. You know, it's ridiculous. And his hair has never looked worse. I know everyone likes to joke about how he has his hair plugs. This looks terrible. Is it a bad wig or is it starting to turn? You know,
Hey, if he wants to wear a toupee, that's on him. I'm okay with that. That's on. If he wants to do that, that's okay. I have no problems with that.
Whenever he shows up in something now, it just seems like a signifier of like, okay, we couldn't get anyone else for this ride. A lot of people said no.
they couldn't get another Mark.
And that this franchise is run like I hate to say, like when he showed up in Yellow Jackets, I was like, oh man, this show's really run out of steam, huh? Like that seems like what Joel McHale is the harbinger of now.
I mean, we know that for a fact because they couldn't get Patrick Dempsey back. 100%.
You can't, and you won't. People won't believe that he's playing the same character. So you just have to make it be like, Sydney's type are cops named Mark. That this is just another Mark who's a cop that she married, but not that Mark that we know.
Because they already mentioned it because they were trying to do stupid nostalgia bait back then anyway. So we're beholden to it. You know, couldn't have gotten her a divorce.
What happened to Patrick Dempsey? Like, do we ever get an answer for that?
He went to his home planet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's still investigating he's murders into Hollywood. You know, he was too fast paced. She needs like a small town lifestyle. No, he's an uptown boy and she's a downtown girl. You know.
He went back in time to race Ferrari cars in Italy.
But no, it's so lame. Like they want to do they want to do nostalgic fan bait, and they can't even capitalize on that. And so now we're stuck with this weird thing known as Mark II.
They should literally call him Mark II.
Mark II. Mark II. You know, this time he has. I'm gonna say Patrick Dempsey was. I never really got sold on him as a love interest for Sydney. So I'm not reeling from his non-inclusion, but it's just so silly as a character concept that they're stuck with this.
Like I just don't buy like why is Sydney in like that bedroom scene is supposed to be like kind of show the sweetness between them when he's joking about like I lost it when I was 15 but I didn't want you to think of me that way so I said 17 or something and I'm just like this doesn't seem like I don't know I don't know what Sydney's type would be but I just doesn't feel right that it would be him.
I don't know. He's boring like Derek, so that's
and she does like boring guys, so that's true.
Patrick Dempsey was too hot and heavy, All right. So is that all we have to say about Mark?
Yeah, really. Like, what else is there to say? Like, he gets like stabbed, oh no.
Yeah, no, that's she should have gotten married to Patrick Dempsey's partner, the not Ben Stiller guy. There's some sparks there.
That guy's fun. Yeah, at least there's a personality there.
He was stabbed. He was in a movie called Stabbed. Fucking amazing line.
Actually, one more thing I will say about Joel McHale in this movie is that, like, I thought it was really stupid how, like, in the fight scene that they have at the house, right? Like, okay, so first off, right, the police do a search of the place, right, before they go and grab their stuff, right? So the idea is that they're only going to be there for like 5 minutes anyways, right? But the fact that like no police officer noticed that there was an addict there, like, if it's an ACAB thing, then I'm okay with it, but like, if it's not, then it's just stupid, And
then he's the chief, wouldn't he have, or the sheriff, like, wouldn't he have people stationed outside still, even after the search while he's getting his family ready to go? Like, he would be diverting all resources. There would be SWAT geared guys like patrolling the house.
Maybe they don't like him. Maybe he's a bad cop. Maybe he's a bad cop. You don't know. He was like, I want all available units onto the high school, and be like, this is abuse of power. Who knows what he's like?
Maybe it's like a send help situation. He just eats a lot of tuna sandwich, like he
wants to be away from
smelly food.
He's an odorous guy.
It sounds weird whenever he calls her babe too. It made me think of fucking yeah, babe, wait, babe, don't go, babe.
All right, so then we get to the infamous scene that everyone loves to laugh about, the breakfast scene that leads into the leather jacket thing, which was the fucking point of this. Wouldn't she have worn that more? Did she just hang it up after Scream 2 ended? And then never wore it again out of trauma? So Tatum wears Sydney's leather jacket, which looks terrible. Sydney does not respect leather.
It kind of almost looks like in how, like in Rob Zombie Halloween movies, like the mask is supposed to be like rotted over the years. Like that's the look that the leather jacket has in this movie. And I'm just like,
probably smells.
Yeah, right. Like Sydney is not taking care of this jacket. It just doesn't look right.
No, it doesn't. And Sydney, like, it's vintage and she's like styling it, but she doesn't. The outfit Tatum was wearing would not go with that leather jacket. It's just there, just so that she can wear it. No one put any thought into this other than she has to be wearing the leather jacket so that Sydney can have an emotional reaction. Because remember, Scream 2, when the real thing should have been that maybe Tatum found the Greek letters, because that had more of an emotional thing. Because Sydney doesn't wear them anymore. She didn't wear them in 4. Okay, she wore them in 3. She doesn't wear them in 4, and she didn't wear them in 5. And she's not wearing him in this movie. So rather than the leather jacket that doesn't fucking matter, because why would she have emotional attachment to a leather jacket? And that doesn't even fit with the outfit that Tatum is wearing. The necklace, the Greek letter necklace. Maybe she thinks it's cute. It's a fun design or something. She wears it and she notices it, and it's like you can't wear that and that feeds back into the Tatum thing where she's like. She's protective about her secrets and the people that she lost. Because when she just had that heart-to-heart later on, like, my friend Tatum, you could be like, okay, this feeds into that theme. But no, it's the leather jacket that she still has, and it looks like shit.
Also, if she was supposed to have like an outsized reaction to seeing the jacket, I feel like they could have played into it more. Like I said before with like the Jamie Lee Curtis thing, like lean into it, like that she's like a little off. Like off. Yeah. Like that this is like kind of broken her in a way. I mean, like you could still have the like she's a strong survivor and she like made a career off of overcoming trauma, but that it still lingers, especially as it carries to the next generation. Like that's what this should be about, right? Like generational trauma. But the movie's also not interested in that.
No, it's not interested. It barely brings it up. Yeah.
With this, with a lot of not just Scream, but like a lot of horror sequels, in my mind, like a controversial opinion that like people have gotten kind of not mad, but at me in the past is that I think that out of all the legacy sequels, the like 2022, I think Texas Chainsaw movie, I think that's like one of the smartest and best ones that's ever been done.
Yes.
And I think it's so funny that like they put so much like faux reverence on the character of Sally, and we see her like getting ready for this like re-encounter with like Leatherface and everything. We have several scenes where she's just getting ready. And then when she shows up to the battle, she gets killed like in under a minute. Like she's just immediately killed. And I think there's like a lot of places in these legacy sequels where they could build humor and then they don't because they actually put real reverence on these things. Like the leather jacket thing could have been like used for a moment of like, oh, this is like ridiculous. You know what I mean? But then like they just like don't push it in like a smart way. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Zane, I'm
Yeah.
so happy to hear you bring up that Texas Chainsaw scene because that's one of my favorite takes on that kind of legacy. She literally gets thrown into garbage, like when she like
And
goes
it's not the same
confront Leatherface.
actress.
And no, it's not.
She died. The actress died, so it's like a hat on a hat. And I don't even mind that shit. I think it's pretty fun, but it's like that part is like pointless. It's there because they're not confident enough in the actual story they've written.
Mm-hmm.
And Scream 7, more on that, you know.
Do we have to?
Yes. I wish we could have talked about Rise, even though I was lackluster about it. I was like, nope, we talked about Evil Dead Rise. We have to talk about Scream 7. You know.
Can we talk about the death at the like theater? You know, like that whole like. I feel like that's when the movie's really trying to scare you, and it's like really failing.
Yeah,
that's like the next. Oh, there's one scene in between that, right? Like
there's two scenes in between that. There's meeting Anna Camp and the guy from The Boys, Gen V, and then we meet the rest of Sydney's friends. You know, the very memorable girlfriend from Scream seasons 1 and 2. Let's call her that. That's her point. That Kevin Williamson watched those movies, like the way they treat that gay guy's girlfriends is really clever. I should make that the way I treat the love interest for the weirdos in my movie. You know, don't you get that feeling, Tony and Doug?
I think it was just fan service for Ghostbusters fans because they brought favorite character Lucky.
I like that Doug's world revolves around Ghostbusters.
Wait, who's Lucky?
She's the one of the girls she's the girl that Stranger Things kid is like kind of into.
How old are these people? How old are these characters and actors? They're too old to be playing these movies in these movies, man. But but the thankless role, and again, it was very much Scream the TV show, where like we're gonna have the only non-white ensemble cast character. I'm not counting the Meek Swins because they're holdovers. Be a love interest, and that's their only personality, you know, and they're their only personality, and then they killed off. That's it. That like. Kevin Williamson should be ashamed of himself.
Her family owns a bar. That's not a character trait. That's just something about her.
What family? Where's her pops, man?
Yeah, I don't know. She knows how to make pizza.
No, she doesn't, because she burns it. She's failure.
Yeah.
Failure in life and failure in death. Wait, but that's it. I think we've run the gamut of our characters. So now we're free and clear to talk about the most disappointing kill in Scream history. Because even Freddie Prinze Cruz, whatever his name was, Tom Prince Jr. of Death had something going for it. This is like blue balls, the kill. Okay, because
the lead up to it sucks too. Of like when they're just doing the play, like before the horror even starts.
Yeah, it's terrible. But at least like, okay, are they going somewhere with this? So McKenna Grace plays Hannah. for some reason. Uh, and the whole point of this scene is that she's the hydraulics on is the apparatus that makes her fly like a fairy in the stage play they're doing, which is it Peter Pan?
I think so.
Because there's a dog and someone who
Right.
flies.
And the window's there.
But like she's not playing. The dog isn't named Nana or whatever you call it in that. So is it meant to be is it supposed to be Peter Pan? But they don't want is there licensing issues with Peter Pan?
Yeah, I thought it was public domain, but maybe it's not.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
I don't know if it was the dog in the book.
the dog
might-
was in the book. Dog is
Oh, it was okay. I don't know then.
but they call her
Maybe it's like a-
Fluffy.
Maybe it's like a Beetlejuice musical revival situation where they tried to make it like more cool and epic, right? In the adaptation, so they like just changed like a few things here and there. You know, I've never seen Beetlejuice musical. I could be totally talking out of my ass.
Yeah, but it went on for several seasons on Broadway, Tony. So you should get on.
Hey, you know what? I do not disparage that show's success. Same deal with the SpongeBob SquarePants one. I heard apparently that one was very good.
Yeah, but let that guy shit on his wife, so it should have never existed.
That's true. I support marriages in this household.
Me too.
Also, why is
Not
the
me
guy from
forever.
why is the guy from Veep in this? Why is Joey
Right.
Ryan the music teacher or the guy in charge of the play?
Because he I don't know. Why was he in the Home Alone reboot? But not.
Why wasn't
playing
it Jay
Peter?
McCarroll?
No, that would
That would have rocked. That would have rocked. All right, but let's talk about this scene that's disappointing again. Okay, so the hydraulics don't work. They're bumpy. She says that they hurt because they're jerking her around, and Ghostface starts playing around them. Lifting her up roughly, lifting her down, dropping her down roughly. That happens like twice, and then he gets bored and stabs her in the stomach, and that's it. And
This whole sequence is just built around the final image.
exactly.
Lame.
But you could have still gone that final image if you did the thing that the entire premise of this whole Saw-like setup is going for. That hydraulics don't work. I thought that there's this movie I'm thinking of that has a similar kind of setup. Where I stay in my mind where someone's stuck in something that it just keeps on happening and it destroys their body. And I thought that was going to happen. That'd be going up and down till like her bones break or like her neck snaps from like the complete whiplash that keeps happening, something like that. It just doesn't do it. It's just like, okay, well, we gotta stab her, I guess, because we've got to get this scene over. It's disappointing. This movie can't even commit to its kills, and that was something I gave 5 and 6. That the kills were cool. Like the thought was put into those at least. Can't even do that.
And it just feels like Ghostface doesn't even care. Like I said, like he just kind of lazily, half-heartedly swinging at her, like as she's like zips by, and but not in a way where it's like, okay, you could kind of buy into the logic of 6 that like the dad who's Ghostface is kind of just over it, where he's just so direct in his kills. Where he's like, I'm just gonna walk up to this guy, stab him, take a shotgun, and then go after the girls. Like it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like the movie and Ghostface are simultaneously giving up in this.
Yeah, I mean, and then they forget about her. She
Like
doesn't
they
matter.
always do.
They always do.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Like,
and I can't,
why would it be any different this time around? Like at this point, we keep moving. Oh, isn't this when like we start to do like the whole like house invasion thing? We already talked about that, right? Like the whole like
talk about a little bit.
Ghostface appear. Yeah. Let's get into that then.
So
Let's do
she's
it.
gotten the first calls from Stu already.
Right. Let's talk about again. So we got the call. We talked about how stupid they look, and they look like cameos. Like Sydney paid $50 a minute for.
There
them.
was one thing I liked in that, and I don't know if this was like
Go ahead.
intentional. I did like that he had like all the scars the first time and then not the other time. I don't know if they were trying to make a commentary or not
I think they
about how
were.
when you AI generate something, it looks different each time.
I think they were.
Yeah, I appreciated that. That was one of the few things that I was like, oh, I kind of like that.
The one thing I was wondering about that was like, was perhaps the prompt to be like essentially to scare Sydney into thinking that they were like, still scarred from the event that had happened the last time. So that first appearance would, put them off balance that way. What I would have appreciated is if they looked that way the entire movie. If every time we cut back to that version of Stu, he looked like that, I would have went with it a bit
because
more.
we're kind of supposed to buy that Stu could be back.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
It should
So
work
the
every
fact
time.
that he comes back and he has none of those scars later, and it just looks like Matthew Lillard in front of a school, like that's when I'm like, okay, well, obviously Stu's not dead, like
Here am I.
obviously Stu's not
in-
alive.
Here am I in sunny California. Thanks for watching my vlog.
This is the report of the week. Food review.
Also, have they already started mentioning how Sydney wasn't in New York? Because they bring that up multiple times in the movie of like, yeah, that what happened in New York was crazy. You weren't there.
Okay, so I think that Anna Camp's character brings it up when they're in the cafe. And as I mentioned, I'm not sure if I mentioned it off screen or not. I'm bringing it up right now. Sydney has opened a cafe for some reason, and I think that Anna Camp, she mentions, oh, I had an abusive husband, and I don't want. I'm worried about like bringing that energy back home to my son, etc. Whatever, right? But Sydney has a cafe, and Anna Camp.
You know why she runs a cafe, by the way?
Why?
Because Willa Fitzgerald works at a cafe in the Scream TV series.
God, you're right. And let's see here. Colin Williamson killed off a token minority girlfriend. So he was definitely inspired by the show. 100%. So wait, one thing that I mentioned off screen, I think before we start recording, that Sydney working at a cafe makes no sense because Anna Camp's character is one of the killers, and her motivation is that she was so traumatized by her husband's abuse, and so afterward, inspired by Sydney's whole story about overcoming trauma and fighting back against her abusers and all of that, that she was motivated enough to kill her abusive husband. So, but we can't respect her. So she's one of the two scenes that she's even in. And we don't even get anything past like, oh, I'm so glad that, you didn't, you go into New York. I think she mentions that there, you held true to yourself. Right. Why not just have Sydney work as like a grief counselor or something? Or trauma counselor. That was what she was doing in 3, and she wrote the whole self-help book in 4. Throughout the entire series with Neve Campbell's character, there is like a good through line about progression about how Sydney is taking back parts of her life
and trying to help people, like
exactly.
or just be like a therapist or something. Like all of that would make way more sense than cafe owner. Like it just feels so disconnected.
Yeah, and that way you could have Anna Camp, being a character that is clearly still working through stuff more actively, and also have a connection to Sydney beyond I'm your neighbor and I'm a good neighbor.
It's such a flimsy connection that it's like, okay, come on. Like, even if I didn't know beforehand. And also, I just want to say, not just the cafe, but at no point does Pine Grove ever feel like a lived-in town. Woodsboro does, like, the first one does such a good job of, like, grounding everything and, like, making it, like, you feel a sense of place and community there. So when things get disrupted, like, you understand that carnage. Yeah, but like here, I feel like only the characters we see exist. Like who else lives in? What's the population of Pine Grove?
Well, you didn't like the scene of random extras turning over clothes signs to Nick Cave?
It does feel almost like a Silent Hill game where like we're just in this area where we're just encountering the people that matter and nothing else.
Did no one live in the apartments above the houses that heard Tatum and Ben, I guess, scream?
This movie feels like it was made during COVID.
Yeah, very much so.
Much more than Sick did.
Yes,
more than the COVID movie that Williamson wrote.
Oh, well, there's a lot of things that Williamson wrote that he doesn't do in this one. So it's shocking. But yeah, no, that way, Sydney could have this bond that exists with Anna Camp's character that makes it more dramatic that she's the killer. Because then Sydney is thrown off. Like, what is this? It's a as deep a betrayal as some of the other killers could be. But now we get nothing, because they have like a cafe. It's a cafe.
The reason it has to be a cafe is because not only does Sydney serve one ghost face, but two ghost faces in the same morning. And Kevin Williamson was like, okay, can I get two ghost face suspects in the same scene and have it so one of them is the obvious red herring and the other one is the one that's going to be a surprise later on that's supposed to sting. So it's like it's.
I mean, her being a therapist could have also done that.
Yeah, they kept them.
Yeah, but like,
and then like you have been a really terrible therapist, Sydney. You know, yeah, but you're right. It's for sheer economics of an efficiency, I mean, you're right, completely right. Because again, they want to push Stu so much they don't have enough time for any other scenes that could possibly fill those functions. They just don't. You gotta have Nephew later going like, oh, "I'm gonna quote myself." It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's an embarrassing movie. Anyway, it's not the home invasion scene. You said you had something to talk about, Tony? Hello? Anyone else here?
I'm here. The home invasion scene, like on paper, good idea for a set piece. Like I think that would in a good Scream movie, like yes, the terror is already because like there could be something to the like that we're already ramping up. Like, oh, that's supposed to be Tatum's best friend. They already killed her. Anyone's on the table, and then the home's already getting invaded. Like, this should feel intense that we're ramping up so quickly, but it doesn't. Like there's interest,
So
like the
lethargic.
idea of her having a panic room we should have spent way more time in that panic room.
Ugh.
Maybe they should have just done the movie Panic Room, but with a ghost face on the outside.
You're right. You're right. I was so surprised because they have a panic room, and she's like, "But there's an exit into the walls. We gotta leave now." The point of the panic room is that you stay in the panic room until help arrives.
No, we gotta go get Dad.
He's a cop who has a gun. If he dies, it's his own fault at this point.
yeah, it's a situation where like when all of this stuff is going down, it's not really like it seems like everybody should be more prepared for this, but they're not. There's that moment where like, oh, you don't have your go bag ready. Well, I unpacked that earlier, and it's supposed to be this like rebellious moment, but it's like I don't buy it. It's just a situation where it's supposed to show like rebellion between a teenager and their mother, but like all of it's in service of just how can we make this scene more in quotation tense. But that doesn't work when like most of the sequence is like, oh, look at how flimsy these drywall pieces are, how we can like stab and get stuck in there, and then we're in the walls and it's just being chopped through. It's like it's like the most boring versions of these kinds of slasher set pieces. So like as all this stuff is happening, it feels weightless, and I know that nobody here is actually going to get hurt in any meaningful way.
Tony, you just give me a brain blast, okay? Because you mentioned is the go bag line real? Because I was fucking falling asleep during this scene because it's so lethargic.
Oh, it's real.
Okay,
yeah, he says it.
Okay, good. Because we've all talked about the intro scene. It has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. It's pointless and it has no thematic kept to it at all, right? The intro should have been crazed Sydney doing a fire drill. And then we find out at the end it's a fire drill. And the Tatum's like so pissed, like I can't believe we do this every other week, So it should have been like a fake ghost face invasion of the house. And then we see the real thing, and it's like a parallel and a contrast. And she's like, "Oh, I unpacked it." Even though could we see the go back early in this hypothetical intro? That's a fire drill, And then she's like, "That way we set that up earlier." And then when she unpacks it, like, "Oh, it's dramatic irony,"
And that'd be interesting because we never start with the main cast in the cold open, and then it would start to hammer home. Like I said, this movie should be about generational trauma. If she's like staging like fake ghost face attacks to like prepare her daughter, that would be so traumatizing. But they don't want to make Sydney be that bad or crazy.
And they should. If she was living out in the fucking woods like that Unabomber in number 3 on her ranch. With like electric fence, so she should have. Her own niece killed her aunt,
and then she had to kill her niece.
She had to kill her niece by shooting her in the fucking face.
I feel like that would come up a bit earlier, like the fact that it's such a shock later on. But the one thing I also wanted to point out too is like, this show, I almost called it a show, but it does feel like a TV show at this point. The one thing that they're trying to convince us of is that Tatum is supposed to be like the person that we're going to pass the torch upon, right? And I don't mean this to, be mean to the actress Isabel May, right? Like they're doing a fine enough job for what the performance is, but like no one buys that she's going to take on the mantle of Sydney when / if Nev Campbell is no longer doing this. What this film is predisposing is that like this franchise will die with Nev Campbell. So it's like, why are we even doing this? Why not have that same intro that you were describing, Elvis, where they do that drill and then Tatum's killed in the end? Like I feel like something like that would be a far more effective way to kind of like, do a legacy sequel thing than this whole like, oh, you didn't teach me the right way to be a survivor. And even in the end, it's all about like how Nev can help her through these things. It's very bizarre.
And then she still has 2 backup kids, so why not kill off Tatum? Because we can always do another legacy sequel with the next kid.
They call those extra lives.
But yeah, like commenting on legacy sequel by saying that there is no legacy, which just kind of does, but in a self-congratulatory way rather than a dark way, like it should have. Like the thing about this movie that's not cynical. I think overall, Scream and the ones we've liked are the ones that are very fucking cynical about the state of America and the national psyche. And this really isn't. This is like very sentimental and very, very kind of heartwarming. But no, Scream 1 ends with Gail deciding to, leave Dewey leave Dewey alone in the ambulance when he's calling out her name to cash in on the media sensation this case is gonna bring her. It's amazing. It's my favorite ending in the series still. Like, Gail, where's Gail? It's like he's just fucking doing breaking headline news.
Okay, I'm chomping at a bit to get to Gail. She's like introduced pretty much here, right?
Right here. Yes, get to it. She fucking runs over fake Ghostface.
This is the cringiest moment. Like this is the show
Marvel fucking movie.
Yeah, exactly. The movie was already like not doing anything new, but this is like when it's doubling down on like, yes, this is a Marvel movie. This is fan service. Like they have like applause breaks and everything where it's like, it's Gail and the Meeks twins for some reason. I know they're the only ones remaining of the core 4 who weren't fired or quit the production, but like there's no like narrative reason for them to be there, so they just have to be like, they work for Gail, like because Mindy wants to be the next Gail Weathers or something.
She must be a reporter.
I'm like, was that a stat? Like, it seemed like she liked movies. It seemed like that was her deal.
To be fair, she only liked movies, but did she ever like movies in a real context? Like how? Like Randy wanted to be a filmmaker. We know that. But what does Minnie's love of movies even adhere to? Like, what is that?
She had a letterboxd.
Well,
like, that's what it was.
That could be commenting on shallowness of some film fan of like, where there's not even interacting or care about the art. They just want to recite like the stats. Yeah, trivia and stats.
Yeah.
The Bob Chipman of the Scream movies,
Hey, movie Bob. Hey. Rest in peace.
He died? Yes.
No, I just said that for no reason.
I was like, oh shit, I missed
that. Rest in peace.
I want to get to the Meeks twins because like
go ahead.
It's really stupid how they handle them. Like they're sidelined the entire movie. Like every time there's like exactly they're not used at all, and then anytime that there's a moment where they could be useful or they want to do something, they're like, it's not your time, champs. like again, rubbing in this idea that like, Scream 6 and Scream 5 were these mistakes that need to be corrected, and that like, settle down, children. Courtney Cox here is going to take care of all of this. So because of that, they have nothing to do in this, and like, I'm happy for those actors that they got that paycheck, but like, I didn't even see the pin, if I'm being honest.
It's so dark. It's so dark. But no, I want to say you're right. But the thing is, right? They don't even do any rules. This movie. This is the first movie about any rules. Like she tries to, but she gives up. Like
the movie even is like, yeah, we the rules scenes are bullshit by this point. Especially all the Mindy ones never really had any steam to begin with.
Yeah, because Mindy has had the worst rules. But the thing is, right? We can say like they had nothing to do, and they're working for Gale makes no sense. But these characters have always been like the weakest characters in their movies. Which made it funny, which made it so funny to me when I saw someone be like, "Well, I'm so glad that the Meeks twins are still here because everyone knows they were the true heart of the radio silence movies."
What?
Like someone said it. I saw a fucking tweet. I said like, they were the real.
They were only interesting in how they bounced off of the Carpenter sisters and the other cast. Like that.
So not interesting at all.
No, that's what I'm saying. But that's the only modicum of, because like the movies themselves even ran out of like for Chad of like, oh, what's his deal? Fuck, he's like a bro. I guess he's a Sarah. Yeah.
That's it. So they've never had any texture to them at all. So I was wondering, like, okay, like we have Williamson back. How is he going to use them? He's like, apparently, I guess they're just worthless characters, because they're possibly even worse here. Chad is worse or the same. I can't tell.
They're worse because like even the empty vessel of Chad before, at least like, I don't know. I feel like there's at least one line read in previous 5 or 6 that he gets from that gets a chuckle out of me, but there's nothing here. Like I can't think of a single thing they do besides show up and be like, all right, we got to get the camera ready. And then the thing of Mindy trying to like get on camera and then Gale showing up and be like, if you ever do that again, I'll kill you or something.
I could be the killer too. The only thing with them that stuck out was at one point, Chad gets hurt. I think because there's a lot happening in that sequence. Chad gets hurt. I think he gets stabbed, doesn't he?
He gets stabbed. They get stabbed again. Chad's like, I don't want to get stabbed again. And they're like, but we gotta save disposable girlfriend.
And that was very surprising because I thought, they're gonna like just kill him like really quickly and suddenly like I wasn't expecting like him to get hurt right then. You know what I mean? But then they just sort of like toss him to the side and he's like,
that would be cool. If
they're like Kenny in South Park now. They need to get both of them get stabbed every movie, and then seemingly fatally sometimes, and then they'll be like, nah, yeah, they're fine.
And you think that the whole point of introducing 2 of Randy's descendants, right, would be so you kill one of them off and still have one of them left over, right? Do you think that'd be the entire point of that? Mm-hmm. But no, we need to keep both of them and not give them any characterization. I still don't know who Mindy is as a person.
I can say what you will about Randy. Like they did it. He didn't overstay his welcome because they killed him off in the first sequel. So he didn't have time for me to get sick of him.
They only are keeping them around because they want to still keep the chronology of 5 and 6 while still shit talking 5 and 6. Like, they fortunately are using these characters as a vessel for them to comment upon like their like hatred of those prior entries, and it's really disgusting. And like, I hope those actors got paid really well for this, but like at the same time, I'm like reading the script. Like,
I hope the money everyone got paid in this turned to dust.
Yeah. Like the day 2 where it turns to shit after like midnight.
Yeah.
But no. So again, you're hitting on a really great point, Tony, because that's exactly how I felt about Judy from Scream 5, because Scream 5 sucks. And so I'm glad that they're on the other end of this now. How does it taste?
I mean, I don't know. In comparison, 5 seems like Citizen Kane to
That's
compare.
what
it
I'm
does.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
They fulfill the same function though as Judy and Wes. You know,
There's it, but 5 is way more competent. He's like,
I don't know. I think we're splitting hairs here. I don't think this is that much worse than 5. I'm going to stick by it.
I would say it's much. 5 has like I think I would say I genuinely like most of how Dewey is handled in terms of like the legacy character stuff
Absolutely.
in 5. And like that's a
But then
great.
you have everything to
performance.
do with Sam, and Sam was just bad.
Yeah, I hate all the Billy Loomis and the kin of Billy Loomis stuff. I think that's stupid, but there's still good sequences, and you have a good ensemble.
Yeah. So,
like Jack Quaid's in it. Like there's no Jack Quaid's in this.
I don't think Jack
That's
Quaid was
what
that
I'm
good
saying.
either. I didn't like Jack Quaid to begin with either. So again, okay, Screen 7 is bad. Let's stay on that train. Screen 7 is bad. We're not that sidetracked. We have the ranking to do. Carl is dead. That's the name of the fake Ghostface. Carl's dead.
Who?
Gail's here. The homeless Ghostface. His name is Carl with K, like Marx. Rest in power.
Gave like a really bad side eye at a coffee shop, and that's the only way we were supposed to know that was him.
And then
Something
they're like-
off about this guy.
And they're like, case closed. And only Nev in the later scenes like, but there's always at least 2. You know?
That would have been a great subversion if there is one Ghostface and they kill him like 40 minutes in, and the rest of the movie is them just like not being able to trust anybody.
Exactly. It's like, it becomes like a fucking Fincher piece or some shit.
Zodiac.
Yeah. It becomes
Well,
like Panic
there's-
Room.
If you're gonna say there's at least like 2, like just go all out. There's 50 ghost faces.
Yeah, but I thought
why not?
I thought that's what they're gonna do. If I didn't know the twist, I got the plot leaked a year and a half ago. I read it back then. Okay, I thought it was stupid back then, but ignoring that, if you didn't know, that kind of seems like they're gonna do because there's things. Obviously, things are showing up, and I'll be explained by there being 3. Right, but then it has the whole pan to the crowd and like all the suspects that Sydney is thinking it might be, like 7-foot tall Timothy Simons, who's there. Does he live in that neighborhood? Did they all live in the same cul-de-sac? Because he's just there, and he's towering over everybody else.
That's what I mean. What is Pine Grove like? Because like either there's no one or everyone is like. Is that the whole town's population that's gathered outside after the house chase and the first Ghostface gets killed? It seems like it's maybe that's it.
Putting on the town play.
Yeah.
The town play. That was just for everyone in town could fit in that high school auditorium. That's why he's obsessed with it. Anyway, we have this needless subplot about this town reporter who wants to make his bones. I'm reading a lot of Godfather. I watched all 3 of the movies this today. 3rd one holds up. It's great.
Hey,
Anyway, he's like, I want to be the new Girl Withers too. Me and Mindy have the same character arc. I mean,
Yeah, you don't understand how hard it is for local news. What's his character, Robbie Rivers or something? Like, so what is the point of him other than he wants to be Gale Brothers?
do you think he works for Newsmax?
probably. I mean, this is a very white neighborhood. They killed the only black girl in town.
That is true.
Anyway, so we get something where like, oh, it could be the neighbors here, and he loves true crime, and he could be the killer too. But also, and the camp's like, please don't talk about horror. I don't like horror, and that's it. That's it. Mindy says nothing. No one says anything of importance, and then they decide to Scooby Doo shit.
Which again is weird because even if they are kind of like aping a Agatha Christie esqueness for like guess who the killer is, it was never a procedural or any investigating like really being done in these movies. So like the fact that they're now like, okay, we're on the case, we're gonna but really just go to one location, this mental institute.
Exactly. And were they expecting Sydney and family to escape from their house situation? Because it kind of seems like they were really going hard on trying to kill Sydney. So what would be the purpose of having this whole fake, this is where Stu lived for 12 years. Look at all his crazy portraits,
But then later the plan seems to be no, keep Sydney alive and see her. It doesn't seem like there is a plan because he keeps oscillating between like kill Sydney in front of her daughter, or no, we wanted Sydney to lose people, so we'll make her watch. I'm like, what is it? Like, do you want to kill Sydney?
Exactly. So
It's called plot convenience.
it's called no plot. There's no story here. This could have been an episode of the TV show in 45 minutes straight. We could cut out all this shit and nothing would matter. I don't remember this scene. I'm looking at the camera again. I don't remember the scene of the Meeks twins talking to Tatum because they probably said nothing of consequence. Do you remember the scene where they're talking to her at all?
I think she literally says, "Why are you guys here?" Which is so funny. I think that was the one of the laughs the movie got out of me because I was like, yeah, are they going to have a reason for why they're here? And not really. It's just that they want to stop Ghostface because they survived Ghostface and their uncle was close with Sydney's with the Tatum's mom. So
and they're now a camera crew now, like Fred and Daphne in Zombie Island.
Sure. Yeah. It's funny the movie is aware that the Meeks twins have no function, but then does not propose like a satisfying like answer. All alternatives, like, yeah, we don't know what to do with them.
You know what? It's the killer should have been hunting down the Scream 5 and 6 surviving characters. You know, if they're gonna be so obsessed with how those ones don't count, they should have been hunting down survivors.
Yeah,
and they know what I'm not, fuck Spyglass, but if they should have just said like, oh, and they killed Sam and Tara off screen. That was their first two victims.
They're too cowardly to even invoke them. It's like based on how the Meeks twins are played, it seems like they never had any connection to those characters or never met them, even though those events did happen because they reference New York, but they never have any utterance of Sam and Tara other than like when they're gathered and doing like the not rules scene. Mindy goes like, oh, I don't know. Billy Loomis had like a secret child or something. So who knows?
It was so funny. People getting upset, like, how dare they reference Sam as Billy Loomis's secret love child? That's the only characterization she had like 1.5 fucking movies. Okay, that's it's just saying facts about those movies at this point. That's how Radio Silence wrote her and was playing her character arc. Okay, I'm sorry that the movie is making fun of 5 and 6. A lot of the times it makes fun of 5 and 6 are out of pocket for how terrible the movie is. But saying facts that you're just uncomfortable with accepting that 5 and 6 just aren't that perfect. You know,
we can say that Melissa Barrera did a good job in those movies while still having a horribly written character.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, none of us are besmirching my great friend Melissa Barrera.
Exactly. Doug's close and personal friend, hang out every Christmas.
She's right here off screen.
She's in New York. She's in New York. You know, on Broadway. So congrats.
Yeah. That's only a train ride away. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, what show is she doing? I can't remember.
Titanic.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which I never noticed. I don't know what's about. I keep seeing posters for it. I've seen posters of it for years. I don't know what's about. I don't want to know what's about. It could be good.
Elvis, do you go to a lot of Broadway?
No, because it's expensive.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I wait till the movie versions are released of like plays and stuff. Like you're like, oh, Hamilton's streaming. Okay, I can watch it.
Let me know when the Maybe Happy Ending is out on Hulu. Okay. and then I'll watch it. Anyway, so they're at the bar and everyone's drinking, but it's okay because they're all 30, really.
I was gonna say it should be weird that like these the Meeks twins are literally adults and they're getting fucked up with kids, but yeah, they're all 30.
To put that in the little bit spicy. Okay, to make this joke in front of Shadows, I don't know if you told them of our running joke here.
Oh, of the pedophilia in all Scream.
All of Scream has fucking pedophiles in it. There's like one pedophile character per entry. Yes, we can list.
I don't remember this.
I think maybe 2 doesn't have. I think we kind of one in 2. Okay, but let's see here. 3 is entirely about pedophilia. Because of the casting couch Harvey Weinstein guy. 4, what was 4? Was there one 4?
Well, they were both teenagers in that one, right?
Yeah,
so that's fine.
The TV show has 1, and the TV show has 3. TV show has 3.
Okay, and 5 has
Rich is off the rails.
Richie and
Richie-
Mikey Madsen, like she's in high school and he is supposed to
And
be an adult.
And they
Oh,
met a
yeah.
year ago, and they're like
Yeah.
17. They met a year ago, so they went when they're 16, and they keep referencing the fact that they're boyfriend and girlfriend. And also, Chad Meeks, I think his name is, his girlfriend had a tryst with Kyle Gallner's background character a year ago, and again they're 17.
So she would have been like 16, yeah.
The third season of the TV show has a pedophile as well. And 6, was there one in 6?
No, it was just the family.
The family, but then they have like the dad. I'm gonna
Oh,
presume.
the dad maybe being in the room while doing fake like simulating
Sex
sex.
noises with his daughter, which was also really fucking weird. So there's a lot. There's a fucking lot.
I've never considered that. That's interesting.
It's crazy. So the Meeks twins getting drunk with these high schoolers who are sophomores or juniors.
Who knows? I don't think the movie cares how old these
I
kids
don't-
are.
I don't-
It
I
doesn't
don't
care
thi-
about the kids.
They don't talk about college at all. So I don't think that they're seniors, because that would be a point of discussion. Let's call them juniors. So like they're 17, 16, and the Meeks twins are like in their mid to late 20s getting drunk with them. Chad, step away.
How depressing. How depressing is that?
That's their lives now. This is what you have to look forward to if you survive Ghostface.
Mindy is
Drink
having a
with me.
discussion with a 17-year-old about horror and is speaking to him as a fucking peer. This is like Twitter in real life. Anyway, we get no. You think that'd be a great time for characterization, but it's just Mindy going around saying you could all be suspects, and all of them saying their only single character trait in succession, no development, and nothing happens. All
Oh, this is happening concurrently with the interview. Like
with the Zodiac scene.
Yeah. Again, you're gonna kind of invoke a really good movie, but do nothing similar to like what makes that scene interesting.
Yeah, like they throughout, like I said, like they keep touching on ideas, but then like not wanting to like explore them
Because
in
it
an
had
interesting way, even within like a single scene.
exactly, because it wants
Yeah.
to be like, oh, what if Ghostface calls her on live TV, but it doesn't, calls him after live TV. So we
Mhm.
can't even have that going on. We can't even see that'd be such a great way to just like showcase Pine Grove, because maybe you can see people react in Pine Grove that their neighbor and the person who owns like their cafe where everyone goes is like getting the serial killer on TV. Like, what's happened to their town? You know, nothing. The entire town is empty except for these kids in a bar getting drunk with old people.
Elvis, COVID never ended.
COVID never ended. You know, COVID never ended. It's so true. Anyway, Sydney starts listing all the people that have died, and she skips Hallie. So she's a racist. Gail.
What does Gail say that makes Sydney walk off? She brings up her daughter, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. She doesn't want to talk about family, right? Which is like a really good bit, right? Because like obviously Tatum wants to be involved in the whole Sydney like story, right? Like it's this whole thing where it's like Tatum's like, oh, I just let me at him, right? And Sydney's going like, I can't talk about my family. But then there's the illusion that there's 2 other kids who we never even see, right? So it's like all of this tension feels so weightless. So when there is that moment where, Courtney Cox's character is supposedly gone too far, you're just like, I don't buy it. It just feels like at that point it's for plot convenience yet again.
Also, it's like Courtney Cox has been way worse. Gail is such a washed down character of what she's been.
Oh man, like when they do the whole like Dewey, like, oh, she runs to her purse to grab the pills thing, it like you can tell that's like whatever you're paying you, like I hope it's enough, like this sucks. Like oh my god.
Just like I that's what I tell myself 1,000 times in the mirror every day, that I'm fine. Because when she gets introduced, in my head I'm thinking she should be so much more haunted after Dewey dies, but then this is like the worst way to portray that. Like the shakily like reaching for the pill. My trauma pills.
But yeah, no, it's stunted. Like it feels like okay, I'm gonna say Kevin Williamson is also very scared about the fact that he missed the last two sequels, that he's not sure about how to handle these characters anymore. He's like, what should I do? What has changed like in their mindset? So he doesn't do anything. He stripped down to the barest essentials so that maybe in the sequel, like, okay, now that I know where they've been, I can build them up to something else. Maybe that's his thought process. It seems like because Gail is not a hard character. She's been the most consistent character in terms of personality the entire fucking series, other than Nev. And yeah, we get nothing, and she disappears from the movie.
Yeah, she's gone until the end now. Like she's not even part of the climax.
I actually do want to give some kind of credit to Courtney Cox, where it does feel like she gives the least amount of shits. Yeah. Like out of all the performers on screen, I feel like Courtney Cox is just like, "Yep, I'm here." Like that's just
she knows she's in a piece of shit.
Yeah, and like there's something about that I admire, and like something I read online. Like I know we're gonna maybe get into that later on about the whole like everything around this film. It's like she got paid $2 million for this film, and
like 20 million.
And Nev Campbell got paid $7 million, right? And like for the amount of effort that was put into this film, like Courtney Cox is like laughing to the bank, in my opinion. Like Courtney Cox, like was totally getting the better end of the bargain here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've already talked about how what's her face?
Tatum?
No, disposable black girlfriend.
Lucky from Ghostbusters.
Lucky.
I don't know her character's name in this.
I think that's good. That's a good fucking name as ever. I keep thinking Nathan because that's the name of her father who owns the bar. I think because they call it Nathan's Bar. I keep thinking of her.
Her name is Celeste O'Connor. I'll say it. You know,
that's the actress name. Her character is Chloe.
Yeah, Chloe. But I'll say what I do like about her is that she's got big eyes. When you've got a horror movie and you need expressions, you need people with big eyes. And I do think that when there's that moment where she's behind the bar and Ghostface is there, it's almost like it's Jurassic Park.
I am looking at that screenshot right now, and she's like, it's really great little bit.
Oh, also she was in Madame Web. How could I forget?
Oh, right.
Maddie Franklin.
Her web connects us all.
6 degrees of Madame Web. I can't believe they made a sequel to that to this instead of that, man.
Yeah, Madame Web 2. Come on, Sony.
Anyway,
Dakota Johnson, come on the pod.
Exactly. we forgive you. Anyway, so random boy, I'm gonna call him Podcast, is murdered.
I like how we're just calling them like Ghostbuster characters now.
he loves them podcasts. Same thing. It's murdered. We already talked about how stupid that is, and that's it. The ancillary characters are all dead now. Oh wait, no, we already talked about how Ben had like your mother's a bitch dip fake for some reason, and then he gets stabbed to death. After Tatum's like apologizes to him,
So all the kids are dead. This is where they all get wiped out.
Yeah, all of them.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid because it's like, okay, like I would accept it if you would drag this out a little more, but the fact that you dispatched them so quickly, so then the ending is just all about Tatum and Nev Campbell. Yes, obviously, but it's like, like to just focus on them. I'm just like, this is such hack shit. Like not even just from a Scream movie thing. I'm just like from a horror movie. Because like the thing I always say is that horror movie fans, they're an easy lay. You do a couple things, and they're okay with it, and they'll be okay with the whole arc of it all. But at the end of the day, if it's so lazy, if it is so transparent in how much disdain it holds for the audience, then it all falls apart. And this just feels like it's just seeping with disdain.
Well,
it's because it's just transparent that none of these characters mattered. Like I was never given a reason to care about them. So like taking them off the board is kind of like, well, did we even need them to begin with? Other than that would make Pine Grove's population even smaller.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, what purpose did they serve?
So let's count it. I have the camera right here. So they're all dead by the hour 24 mark. So when did this bloodbath begin? Let's see here. This bloodbath began the hour 15 mark. So they're all dead in 9 minutes.
What?
That's way too quick.
It's really fucking quick for them all to be dead, but it's true.
And then we also have to take the Meekses off the board because, yeah, Williamson doesn't know what to do with them, so they can't be part of the climb. But also not kill them because it's like, well, there is a
So you gotta make it
fandom that
look like
likes
they got,
them.
but they gotta make it look like they died, like they always do.
Yeah, the way maybe this time they really got. I mean, that would be the subversion. It was like, no, they're fucking dead as fuck.
At the end of the movie.
Yeah,
Like the narration, like in Dirty Work, where it's like that guy died. Oh, Dirty Work.
It's actually restraint that this movie never has a moment where they like fist bump and go core 2, you know, like the fact
Yes,
they never did that.
that would have been so funny. I would have laughed.
Oh,
I
people
actually
have
would
been
have
so
laughed.
mad about it.
People are mad about them talking about facts at this point. You know, so
At this point, anger is justified, in my opinion.
yeah.
so anyway, they're all dead, and so Tatum, who has no characterization other than scared daughter,
This is when she should have had a Cindy or not a Shinji moment and like kind of crumpled under the pressure and like yeah, I can't do it, Mom. You know, like when she's in the free like the office locked in it and like Sydney's talking her through how to like use the gun and stuff. Or you would go really dark. She accidentally like shoots herself with the gun like that. Either like. Her failing, like if either you like going to go really nihilistic and just kill the daughter, like I think would be an interesting direction, or yeah, she just can't do it.
yes, exactly.
Before we get into the coffee shop, I think it's then, it might be earlier. I can't remember. I think it might be then though that we get a shot of the movie theater because they like fight in front of the movie theater for a second.
Yes,
And
you're right.
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is on the marquee, and that seemingly is there for like no reason other than to just like be like, oh, there's like a horror reference in this, but like that kind of like stuck out to me as like a weird thing to
because
be there.
nothing in this movie is like reference like in this like Scream 1 actually had like parallels with Halloween. Like it wasn't
Right.
just having Randy watch Halloween. This one doesn't have anything in common with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I also think during this part, like when they're fighting from the theater, there's a shot of Tatum running through the streets where she's like, where is like kind of acknowledging like the Pine Grove's like a ghost town. And then I thought this is like kind of just shows Williamson's amateurness as a like filmmaker. Like I thought we were about to get like a helicopter like zoom out or something. Like the camera starts to like kind of crane up and like move out, but that doesn't really move that far. Like it's just like a little bit of an overhead, and I thought we were gonna like zoom way out and show like how deserted the town was, but they were probably like, no, we can't. There's nothing to show, so we can't zoom out that far.
You're right. I fully agreed. Anyway, Tatum gets fucking kidnapped because she's a failure. And what's his face? Sydney is lured back to her house. And we get the most embarrassing scene in the movie history. While it's been embarrassing so far, that everything that we've seen Matthew Lillard in has been these cameo app style videos, right? We get to see him like a bunch of times with other characters.
Oh my
in front of
god.
a green screen.
They're all back.
Laurie Metcalf.
And the thing is, right? They're all
Where's Todd Weary? It's bullshit.
exactly, and they're all doing like their biggest, muggiest moment. That's been the weakest part of every Scream movie, as we've seen, is when the killer gets masked off, and then they decide to do their Stu Macher impression. And that's what we get for like a minute and a half straight from almost every, a lot of the characters from the series for some reason. Why?
Including David Arquette, because it's not just
yes.
ghost
Hold
faces.
Hold on, Doug. I just gotta get two, like David Arquette. I just gotta go when they play the fucking Dewey theme.
They do.
When they fucking do that shit. I'm like, fuck you, Scream 7. Like I already
Yeah,
was
it's
out
6
of
too.
this. You know, like, exactly. You're right. You know, like whenever they're trying to mine that theme specifically, I'm like, don't do the like Twin Peaks shit right now because you haven't earned it, you know? And then also another thing is like similar to what we were talking about before with Stu at the beginning, like you have this concept that like, okay, the first time they appear, they have this makeup on them, and then other times it's inconsistent. But then everybody here is just those actors as they are now, which like, okay, if we were going to follow along with that Stu thing where maybe all of them kind of looked like they had crawled out of a grave, that would have been kind of cool. But the fact that it's just kind of like, you know, David Arquette in his bathroom, you know, with a green screen behind him, it feels really cheap. And like it kind of feels like they think that we're suckers to accept it, you know, like that's the thing that really stings here. You know, I'm not even a fan of this. Like I'm just
do they want us to accept it, like accept that like
yeah,
these people
exactly.
are back? Like I don't think they even attempt to make us think that. Like they did want us to think that was Stu, but like in what world does anyone buy that it's like Roman's alive?
I feel like the killer wants to like egg him on. Say, see, we can bring anybody back. They could all still be alive. Like to Sydney. I think at this point it's obvious to the audience because Ben, in his last heroic moments when he's calling his girlfriend mother a bitch, was like, it could be done. It's definitely AI, you know? So, you know, rest in peace, Ben. Rest in
Which
power.
kind of contradicts the point of because this guy the actual killer does have a tech background, like but he is an AI specialist, right? Like
a 7-year-old could do it too.
Yeah, but if the movie, if the movie was trying to comment on like how scarily easily like you can misuse this tech, then it's throwing that out the window. Like it kind of doesn't have an interest in that. Like the kids should have been doing non-ghost face deep fakes like throughout the movie or something, like sending each other like prank things, like with pretending to be other people.
Yeah,
like
Kevin Rhodes. Thank you. Dewey said, "I died for you, Sid," which is not true at all. Very true.
She hadn't even shown up in the movie yet.
Sydney could barely care that Dewey died. Let's be honest. That movie, like Dewey's dead. I guess I gotta show up now when it doesn't matter.
That's another thing too, like right, like because like Sydney wasn't even that prominent in Scream 5, so this whole like narrative that like Scream 6 was like some kind of outlier, it's like no, like Neve Campbell was like kind of like on her way out. The only reason she's back now is because she got a big payday.
Exactly. So but yeah, it's embarrassing. It's weak. Everyone looks like shit. The entire thing looks like crap. And is that like meta contextual? Is it meant to look like crap?
Yeah, brilliant. Like
Yeah.
like that's the thing. Like the cope that people say, it's like it's not a commentary if you're just doing the thing. Like it just looks shitty and it's fan
Yeah,
service. Like you're
it's
not
like 3.
commenting on this.
It's like 3 when it talked about sexual assault and you know that kind of stuff. Like, but you have characters who get sexually assaulted and then get murdered because you know, like they turned out to be bitches, you know, and you call them bitches in the movie. So what are you trying to fucking say, Scream 3? Yeah. So yeah, it's like that. Where like you're not putting the thought in, you know, at all, and you end up saying the exact opposite things that I guess you're trying to say.
Oh
But
yeah, Mark got stabbed like way earlier in the movie.
Hours ago, he got stabbed in the morning. That's an early
just laying
afternoon.
around.
Laying around. I thought actually died, and I was
Exactly.
like, okay, that's slightly like
There's
subversive.
some balls here. You know?
Yeah, but then they drag him back out, and they're like, you're still alive.
He's tough. Not like Derek, who died with one shot in the heart.
I'll tell you what it was. It was that black undershirt, you know? Like, it's the reason why it was there that entire time.
It was made of the same John
blood.
Wick material that lets them block bullets.
With their
Exactly.
tuxedos. Anyway, okay, so Mark is still alive, and then
Thank God.
wait, why did they bring back Skeet for all this either? They're like, come on.
Because they like now he's too tied to the Carpenter.
Yeah.
So I think they don't want to like invoke that at all. Because like, yes, you think that if they're doing this parade of faces, that like he would be there amongst them, but then that's like they do not want to touch that rail at all.
It's too
So,
reminiscent.
okay. So anyway, we get the reveals. It's Nurse and the neighbor. But I must bring one thing.
The worst ghost faces ever.
Yes, they are the worst ghost faces ever. Because everyone knows that the best ghost face is Roman. Rest in peace. Okay,
No,
Roman.
I still don't understand. Like the neighbor like kind of makes sense. It's lazy and sucks, but like I can at least sort of understand what they're going for with that. I still don't understand why the guy from the institute is like part of the scheme. Like other than he knew how to do AI stuff.
Because I don't know, because they don't even make the rudimentary mention like in Scream 2, where like, oh, okay, wait, that was it. Scream 2, it was Nancy Lewis meeting Mickey on the message boards, and he's like, she paid for my tuition. He was her sugar baby. That's what we were making fun of with Scream 2. He was her sugar baby. Okay. I remember what Scream 2 was about. But yeah, maybe they didn't mention like that, where they met like on a support board or something. And all of this could have been rectified if they were a therapy group.
Yeah, because this
Yeah,
is where they talk about like the book, and the book when they're talking about it, kind of like comes out of nowhere in this sequence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like people will say they have bad motivations, but if they had just made a therapy group, the entire thing is fixed, okay? Because I can see when you boil it down to its essence, the neighbor actually has a pretty good fucking motivation, I think, internally, okay? She bases her entire sort of reclaiming of her own identity with Sydney, as like this person who doesn't, stand by, who always takes action, who, is not a bystander in her life. But she has equated this to the trauma that Sydney has sort of gone through with Ghostface. And when there's a new Ghostface killing and all that kind of stuff, she sees Sydney's non-action or inaction as a weakness. Like Sydney is like hypocrite, and that she has based her life around something that's a lie, and that's, I think, on its face, at the very core essence, that's a pretty interesting, motivation. But it doesn't make any sense when we don't fucking know it until the very end. She didn't even mention the book until this scene.
Hold on, even worse than that, right? Like the whole climax of the film is like her with the gun being instructed by her mother how to shoot and where to shoot, right? Again, this idea that like there's no autonomy afforded to Tatum, right? Like Tatum is not a character. Tatum is a vessel for Nev Campbell to exist within. And for me as an audience member, it's like, why should I I care about Nev Campbell. I care about their hypothetical daughter, but like this whole aspect of them working through them doesn't feel as if it's a horror scenario, but rather like a power fantasy. And it feels rather strange, and I'm not saying this to be petty. I'm just saying that that's how this comes across.
The movie itself is just so fucking insecure that it comes off as just like passive aggressive, and it's so pathetic,
If we were going the book route, I would have liked, like, you wouldn't like we spend a lot of time in their house at the beginning of the movie. You could have had like a cutaway shot of the book like on their bookshelf to even just connect the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie to where it feels more cohesive, instead of less like, because it comes across as almost like making it up as they go along,
Yes.
Well, you already have her son being like this true crime fan. That's why the Stab movies are so dumb, because it's like you can have them commented on the events of the previous movies already because characters have written books about them. So like, why not just have that be the reference point instead of like having that kid be like a Stab fan or something?
Exactly.
It's like Stab does not even matter here. Like these killers don't care about Stab.
But they destroyed a Stab house for some reason.
This
movie fucking sucks, man. This movie fucking sucks. And I want to say they had the worst Ghostface, but you know what I want to say?
Who's the worst ghost? Are you saying these are the worst ghost face? I can't think of a
That's
worst.
what I'm saying.
So these are the worst Ghostface, but they're not that much worse than the other Ghostface. Just the fact of the matter is that they're exaggerated. The ways that they suck are just exaggerated versions of the ways that they almost always suck. Okay, weak ensemble casts that lead to who gives a fuck of relations. We all remember fucking Mickey. Did anyone give a fuck about Mickey? Did Mickey have a good motivation? You know, who gives a shit, right? And also the attempts to mimic Stu and Matthew Lillard's performance as Stu. And everyone seems to want to do it, even if it made no sense to their character. They always want to go like, "Oh, I'm fobbing at the mouth." Oh, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's like who, like why? It's always bad. No one's ever had a good one. And thankfully, you know, Emma Roberts and Rory Culkin did not decide to do that, and which is one of the reasons why that reveal is so fucking great. They decide to actually be their characters. It's so good. But and it's just that played to the umpteenth, but with a characterization or with a motivation that is so vague and self-enclosed that it becomes laughable.
Like, parasocial fandom. Like we did that already.
We did that, and again, it could have been something good. She was like a trauma counselor or something, and this is someone that she was counseling and being a life coach toward, and that would be you could say that's a deeper betrayal that she could feel, but no, it's her neighbor. It's her neighbor. Like she felt betrayed by her fucking neighbor. Who gives a fuck? Is this Two Angry Men or whatever that movie with Walter Matthau? What's called?
Two
Grumpy old
men. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. What is
Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's so laughable because you could have gotten something there. You could have had something, but you can't because you had to make a room to pretend that Stu was back.
And again, what the fuck does Ethan Embry have to do with any other than he's an AI guy, but you didn't need the movie already said that anyone could make this. The boyfriend
17-year-old could make it.
The boyfriend did it on his computer. So I don't know. Like
it didn't even look like a powerful computer. That looked like an HP.
Yeah, exactly. It looked like a generic school laptop.
I also didn't like how that effect was done on the laptop where we get the
morph.
It just shimmers into frame and like a green screen background. It becomes like a dot matrix. It's so fucking
reminds me of Michael Jackson, the black and white video where people would be morphing into another race. It's like, you morph in
Tyra Banks was there. Yeah.
No. It was like Leia Seydoux in The Beast. It felt like moments of that film.
All right. So again, they're the worst Ghostface, but the problems like this have been in almost all the movies. Okay, so we went up. Oh, look, Anna Camp. Her acting is so bad. Show me one Ghostface who has over mugged their Stu impression that's been good. Show me one. I fucking dare you. Show me one that's done it good. People are like, oh, but Mikey Madison Mikey Madison's fucking sucked in 5.
Hey, I will go to bat for Mikey Madison. I will say that Mikey Madison is fun in that movie. I will say that she is a good time.
She's a fine actress, but that scene makes me fucking want to barf. Oh, I'm so glad I got to kill Billy.
You can have that opinion, you're entitled to it, but then also I've seen it shared on Twitter so many times where people are just like, Madison.
I didn't realize I was muted. I love the reveal in 5. I think that it's real well played. Like I don't think they're the best
I feel so
but like they're fun.
The performance quality or like depiction or how they're doing their stews. Like neck and neck in terms of closeness.
Way better than 6. Better than 3, right? And it's certainly way better than
6 and 3. I mean, again, we're splitting hairs here. I mean, they're all racing for last place.
That's all we've got. We've got a toupee. We've got a toupee with centuries
grading on a curve. Yeah.
But also, I love people also saying, I guess the guys from 6 aren't the worst ghost faces anymore. What are you talking about? Did you look at Dermot Mulroney's eyes or Jack Champion's nothing?
Look, Dermot Mulroney can tear up a dance floor, so anything that's going on with the Scream 6, I can ignore it for his dance moves.
Yeah, okay, I agree. Anyway, so it's not okay. So when people bring up the quality like that, you're missing the point. The point is that they're so underwhelming because the movie can't afford any other real estate to build them up or to make them sensible.
I
Because
almost would have respected more if, like, after the first guy from the Institute gets killed, like when he's ran over, like I almost was like, oh, are the killers just going to be people with no connection to Sydney?
yeah,
because that's basically what we're doing. Because like I keep saying, Ethan Embry has no connection, so it's like the neighbors is so flimsy that like, they might as well just be like randos.
exactly. I was thinking that too. Like it should be like like when they mentioned in 6, right? When they mentioned in 6,
That there's like
the
fans of Richie who are kind
yeah,
of trying to like a cult has kind of like arisen online.
exactly. Like there's a mob online who always attacks like Sarah, Sam's character online. Like that could be it. Like you just have people who want to do it, and that kind of have some sort of tense or suspense nature to it. They just don't do it. It becomes annoying. It really does. Anyway, these people, let's see, from reveal to death. Let's just do the minute breakdown here. Okay, because they don't care about any of these. So from reveal to death, it's an hour 34. And when did they die? They die.
Maybe not 20 minutes. I think it's like 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's like
Something
10
like
minutes.
that.
An hour 42.
Yeah,
So
it's less than 10 minutes.
like 8 minutes. They from reveal to death, it's 8 minutes.
Hey, that's better than Scream 6 in the sense where it's just like, okay, we get it,
they are around.
Keep going, yeah. Also, I did laugh when they fucking just blow a hole in Anakin. Like when they hit her and they're just like, oh, you need to shoot her in the head, and then she does the thing. Ghostface always disappears like Batman when you turn around.
Both shoot her?
Yeah, when they both just unload on her, it was like that was shot like a Naked Gun like sequence or something. Like it didn't feel like it was like this is like a Zucker's.
Feel like a trauma movie a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I dug it. And that's it. The movie's over in 4 minutes. the movie's done in 4 minutes. We get no denouement. Mark is still alive, but Sydney decides to not go with him for some reason. That's her husband. He's bleeding to death.
She has to apologize to Gail for not being there in New York. She does do that in the scene, I think.
And then also Tatum doesn't go with her dad either. But even though she's been like busted up, shouldn't she be going to hospital too? Tatum?
I don't know.
I mean, they should. I think that's a problem across all of them. Like, I think at the end of 6, like, there's like several people with like serious wounds who like should go to the hospital.
Like, yeah, Mindy had just gotten stabbed on the train.
But Mindy goes with Chad at least. Mindy goes with Chad. They leave Mark alone. Like they're on the stoop of their house. And
she goes with Chad, but she's like, basically like doing cartwheels after she's been stabbed. Like, hey guys, I'm fine.
I don't think there's any indication they're going to the hospital to meet Mark. They're gonna let him die.
You know what I just realized? You guys remember in Scream 6, the boyfriend to Melissa Barrera? You guys remember that character?
Oh,
I miss him. I would have loved to have seen him.
Good actor.
He should have been Gail's cameraman. He has great cameraman energy. And he'd be like, I took this cameraman job because I got paid for my wedding. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I'll let you fill in the gaps of who I'm marrying.
Exactly. She should be like, see, they remember her. She'll bring her back into a future sequel, and then we'll be vindicated for being fucking racist.
Because there are fans that are deluded in that way. It was like, what if they were just playing this up as like, like almost like a wrestling like kayfabe thing of like, there was no bad blood. No, there's people who really thought that like the firing wasn't legitimate.
People have been saying
ridiculous
that they've patched things up, that she's gonna have a cameo in like the post-credit scene or some shit, setting up.
My god. Like I would have loved it if like this movie ended and like, okay, so like we saw the movie the way that it did and it faded to black and then it faded up again and it was just the WWE ring. And then like you saw like the intro like to Melissa Barrera just entering the ring, just like walking in being like, all right, so I have returned to the Scream universe, like that's what they're expecting, like that's how like dense they are is the way I am approaching this. You know, like
Well,
I almost
there's
can't
no
believe
way
it.
that an actor could have actually been fired for her principle, sticking by her principle. You know, like so they can't rationalize that like real world part. So they need to be like, no,
But,
this
but,
is staged.
but even if they
Yes.
do rationalize, I've seen people say, like, oh, but when, but won't these people feel ridiculous when Liz Barrera apologized to Spyglasses and is in Scream 8? Won't all of their boycott or Free Palestine seem so stupid to them? I can't wait to see their hypocrisy. And it's like just big cope. Like they want to be the ones. It's like when Grant Linehan was saying, "Oh, when
Oh
UK
my
comes to
God.
its senses, there will need to be reconciliation with those of us who have been cast aside." People are like really, really get turned on by wanting to be apologized to. Like, oh, I
Yeah.
was right, and
Mhm.
now they see the light. I was always right. You know, it's like, get over yourself, freak.
Like they can't just be, because let's say like the people they're gloating online of like, oh, the boycott was unsuccessful because this movie made a lot of money. Like it who knows how, if it'll end up, I think 6 is still the highest grossing
They're saying
one.
60 million for the domestic box office, 90 million for worldwide.
Okay, so it still has a ways to go to get to I think
It made a
100.
lot of money. That's a very
Yeah.
successful
it,
turnout,
it was
unfortunately.
it was very successful, but they can't just like be it's very similar to how conservatives can't just be like, yeah, we won, our awful guy won the election, but we're still gonna act like we're persecuted. Like that's how the fandom's acting of like, yeah, the boycott was unsuccessful, but also you guys are so ungrateful, you need to apologize to us for being mad.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So I know you guys wanted to talk about the little bit of production side of this. I want to get that out now because we still need the ranking. I think the ranking is gonna be pretty quick. Um,
Yes.
so go ahead. I need to get some to eat anyway. So I
Are,
already
are
said
we
my
doing
piece.
rankings or are we doing rankings or are we doing the social stuff?
The social stuff now. So the ranking I think will be quick. So let's end with that. I get some to eat. But Tony, you take it.
Oh, like this is like a can of worms to open up right now, but like let's do it, you know. Yeah, so like okay, so if we're gonna, you know, let's take it way back, you know, like so Scream 6 ended, you know, everyone's like, okay, that's a good movie, you know, like we weren't looking at it from the perspective of, you know, an ongoing genocide or, you know, a hostile aggressive takeover within a business. And you know, between Scream 6 and where we are now, you know, like the Ellisons have taken over Paramount. Scream has now become a part of this whole thing, and it's become a part of a whole grander, you know, like ecosystem. I feel like, you know, like it's a much larger conversation, and it feels as though it has more in common with something like, you know, there's a growing blacklist within Hollywood right now for people who are pro-Palestinian. There's been a recent article that was released about Susan Sarandon, you know,
Yeah,
who's
she has to
not
go to
been able to get
Europe
roles,
to work.
right? And like Susan Sarandon, like, look, Susan Sarandon, she's like in her 70s, right? But she's like one of the great actors. You hire Susan Sarandon and she's going to give you a great performance. The fact that she's in that kind of position because of those kinds of beliefs, that should tell you something,
That's
right?
usually what
And
canceled pedophiles have to do, is like go to Europe to like work with like, you know, like
mhm,
directors no one
Yeah.
cares about. Like it should have to be someone who is against genocide.
right, exactly. And instead what they're trying to do here is, instead of like, you know, talking about the disgrace of moving all these things around, they're trying to project like a sense of strength, right? Like they're trying to show like, oh, no matter what, we did the right thing by kicking them to the curb. We're so successful because we did this, you know, like there's a lot of chest pumping happening and going on right now. And it's really strange because you can feel that there are people who are like overzealous in how they are expressing those uh, emotions. And then there's also like the way that the studio is like openly enabling these things. It's creating an openly hostile like fandom environment, you know, so to speak. And then also like in terms of like making any kind of like meaningful conversation within the horror franchise, it's it's kind of turning this all into like a hateful spite-filled experience. Like, I don't feel like I'm too far off in saying this.
Everyone's just
No.
become Richies, like it's what
Like
the
actual factual reaching. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's what the franchise was like been saying about these toxic fandoms, and then the fans were just like, yeah, but that's not us, even though we're doing the same thing.
The thing is,
Who
right?
were the first toxic people we talked about with this franchise, right? We talked about the Columbine shooters in
Yes.
relation to the first Scream movie, right?
Mhm.
And like at this point, it feels like it's like feeding into them, and it's like crazy. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills in a sense. In like that, it's like, why would you go down this route? It feels like you're enabling the worst aspects of this franchise and this fandom.
And people are allowed to like I don't want to support this movie. I watched a pirated version because I did, don't want to, fuck Spyglass. I don't want to give them my money, but people can watch like problematic stuff like I've watched things by directors that are not good people. People are allowed to do that, but the fact that they need to like rewrite history to be like, no, I'm in the right for doing this. Like they can't just like accept that like the baggage that comes with it. When, as we've seen by the box office, in reality, I feel like most regular people don't even know about the behind the scenes thing, like, because that's just like, or if they did hear about it, that was like then like drifted out of their mind, but it wasn't like given like major press coverage, so like on normal news that was like constantly being talked about. So like I'd say like most people are just like, oh, there's a new Scream, Nev Campbell's back. That's why they were going. They weren't going because they were like, fuck Palestine.
Yeah. And with the like, I think like there is a way, like you said, to within a healthier media like environment, like things and still acknowledge like the aspects around it. Like I just said earlier, and that's that Rosemary's Baby is one of my favorite movies. Fully knowing, like everything surrounding Polanski and stuff like that, and everything. I think when you talk about it, like you should talk about it with the context, and like they're like almost like celebrating the context in a way. The people who are aware of like the situation, like I saw earlier today, like someone had posted like
Yeah.
they got some attention. They posted an AI generated image of a movie screen. They're like, "This is my favorite part of Scream 7," and it was Ghostface giving the middle finger, and he had like Israeli colors on it. It said like "fuck Gaza," like in like a speech bubble. You know what I mean? Like it's enabling it. Yeah. Like it's been quite
Yeah.
toxic and
And there's been a
awful.
lot of people, and posting like anti, Latino slurs and
Yes.
sentiment too.
Yes.
And it's been like people like, oh, downplaying it, like, oh, but it doesn't matter because Scream 7 is about happiness and joy, and we're Care Bears. Fuck you. I so like again, it should people be pause. Like, is this really what it's again? I know all about that. I love Zack Snyder movies. And a lot of Zack Snyder people who are latched onto that fandom are pieces of shit who are bigots. I know. And people can be like, well, not all of them. And yeah, I'm not saying all of them, but it should give you pause to, discuss what's going on, and I've discussed, that stuff about how some Zack Snyder fans act. And
Yeah, you're not whitewashing it and being like, no, actually, all of us were in the right and we were proven right.
Exactly. Or being like shit people like viewer anonymous, like, well, isn't it funny how people who are against all this kind of racism, they like Scream 4, and they're saying that Mr. Cameron would be ashamed about the racism, but he didn't like Scream 4, so aren't they silly? Fuck you, viewer anon. Fuck you.
The thing that's really upsetting about this entire situation is that people are reducing real world tragedies to like team sports, and
Yeah.
like they're linking those things to fictional characters, and to make that even worse, the people who play those fictional characters are in some regards playing into it. It's a really disgusting feedback loop that should
the Anna
be
Camp, host, right?
Yeah, Anna Camp, and even I would say Nev Campbell, right? Like I feel like these are people who are openly aware of what's happening around this film, who are gleefully going like, well, we don't care because we got ours. And like this current moment, right? Like I don't even need to comment on specifics, right? But like at this current moment, to say shit like this, to be a part of that, uh Elvis, please bring this quote up. I'm not going to read it right now, but it's like, it's one of those things where you want to make sure that you want to these people, they only care about the way that they're going to get their money. They're only going to find a way to how they can filter that through their own ego and how they can make themselves seem the best and also get themselves future roles. I think about somebody like Demi Moore in The Substance, right? Because Demi Moore in The Substance, they were like doing a second win kind of thing in this fresh horror perspective. And Nev Campbell's trying to do something like this in this movie. But rather than like, build any kind of identity for themselves, they're actually trying to kill off what came before and build into the political commentary with that as well. And building that back into the way that the fans have responded to it, like the fans are going to respond to how the studio and how the film and how the actors involved are also taking part in these things. And it's really disgusting that all of them are kind of in simpatico, and that's going to be the way that it's remembered from now until the end of time. It's
Yes.
a part of it.
Yeah, and like me and Zane have said, it's not uncommon to like something that has a not great background or background that is fraught with horrifics. I love Lovecraft. I love Lovecraft stories. I even love the ones that are very thinly metaphorical, because I think that he's a great writer. But I'm not gonna be stupid and be like, but you don't understand. You're too stupid to realize that these are just metaphors for other things. Like, fuck you. We know what he's talking about. We know what he's talking about.
I mean, the racism is kind of like what made
exactly good.
Yeah, exactly, because of his fear of like everything was like, oh, this now is just like an existential fear of the unknown. It's like, because he was racist.
It would be really creepy if ancient sewer people mated with human beings. I mean, we know what he's talking about, but it would be creepy if that was
if that literally happened, if he wasn't just talking about like Polish people or something.
Right. So, when I posted about it, my first rewatch, my first watch of this, I'm like, I can understand if people like it. It's Ghostface, a person in a Ghostface mask, just killing people. That's it. That's the entire plot of the movie.
But it's also worse than that too. Sorry, just go back to the social aspect of this, right? Like there's like some kind of legacy thing with this, right?
Yeah.
Where they're trying to like rub in the face of like the younger generation almost. Like you can feel like there's like older people who are trying to be like, oh, like this is the way it's supposed to be. This was the way. Like there was like attempts at like changing like people's profile pictures to like be the same thing as to create a movement. And like there was like trying to be like, waging wars between both factions of some kind of way. But it's like, it's not as simple as that. It's actually a far more simple in the sense that it's just one side or the other. And it's so clear that one side is, way more on the right than the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly.
That goes off of Captain Rhodes' comment. Did we comment on that? Where he said people phrase it like one side spoiling the movie is weighted the same as people cheering genocide and wanting Scream to be about white people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like,
exactly.
if you like Scream 7, whatever, like it. I liked shit too, right? But you have to understand that the context of what this movie was made on, all right, and the people who are joining you in this crusade you think you're on, it's all boiling down to disgusting bigotry, genocide, and misogyny. And you got come to terms with that. I've come to terms with shit like that. I mean, I'm American.
And also, I think that other people are smart enough to see this. I think that, like, most normal people see what's happening this weekend and they're going like, that's kind of gross, like they don't see this and they're like, oh boy, I can't wait to see the next Scream movie. I feel like they see the movie itself and the conversation around it and they're kind of like, I don't want any part of this, like that's the vibe I get from all of this. Am I wrong in feeling this way?
Because like also like even like not even like the hardcore ones, but even like the moderate like Scream like fandom profiles online are acting very like religious like in a way that is like off-putting to like, oh, I don't like want to be close to this, even like if I liked this. You know what I mean? Like,
like they're speed running becoming worse than Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
They really want to just be the most toxic fan. Like, no, we're gonna do all of it. We're gonna be racist. We're gonna be make fun of genocide. Like, it's like, okay, why? None of that was necessary. Like, you keep
Exactly.
saying, just like the shitty movie. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's insecurity. The writers insecure, actors are insecure, and now the fan base is insecure. Own it. Own it. Come to terms with it. Have some dignity about it,
Hold on.
or shut up.
Elvis, this is a great point to bring this in, right?
Mhm.
So like, so what's the deal? I'm gonna do my best Jerry Seinfeld. Hold on one second.
Mhm.
What's the deal with everybody misconstruing Wes Craven's intentions as a filmmaker? Right? Because what's the deal? What's the deal with everybody claiming to be like an expert on Wes Craven's like intentions as a filmmaker? Not even just from like now, but from like every point in his career. I feel like Wes Craven himself was kind of a workhorse in the sense that he did what he needed to do to make money. And now that he's dead and people are looking back on his work, they're, you know, recognizing the fact that he was kind of woke. They're recognizing the fact that he had good opinions. And they're kind of going to themselves like, oh, how can we interpret the work of Wes Craven through our prism to make our causes look good? And it's really disgusting how people are trying to use that with this film in particular.
I had someone quote who replied to me going like, "Well, Wes Craven was racist too. You gotta believe me."
Based on source, believe me, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I wouldn't say that Wes Craven was like the best guy ever.
Yeah,
you know, like I would say that he was.
I mean,
I've
seen Scream 3. Like, I know he has flawed views on things, even if he's kind of trying to come at it from like his heart is maybe in the right place on.
Here's guys who lived through the 70s. Okay, let's put it that way.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But like again, it's like, well, either grow or don't. Okay. Are you the same as a 50-year-old, 60-year-old white man, or are you a person who lives right now? You know?
And from my own experience, like, you know, I've done videos covering a great deal of different filmmakers and stuff like that, especially with the franchise videos. I end up talking about like a specific filmmaker for a while sometimes. And I've now talked about Wes Craven a few different times across like the whole history of my channel. And that is by far the people that I've like the times that people have gotten like the most upset with me. Most notably like with The Hills Have Eyes, but like
I was gonna say this. I was gonna say this for sure.
Yeah. To the point that like when I did my like now infamous video, there's a section in there where I break down Wes Craven's like entire filmography, specifically through like talking about like in that instance, I was talking about how like basically in almost every single movie he made, there's only like two that he doesn't, where there's like a definitive statement about like the police either being inefficient or stupid or evil. And like people just don't want to engage with that, even though like it's a consistent thing across like everything that he did. You know what I mean? Like there's like leftist politics all across like his entire filmography in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I mean, like I mentioned, sometimes he's a little bit libby, you know,
Yeah.
but he may have a good heart. I think if he was a scumbag, we'd know by now.
He would be disgusted at the fan behavior. I don't care what any of these people are coping and trying to say, or like with the whatever throwing out like, he didn't like 4 either. Also, what I've read about it, I think that has to do with like 4 was a very troubled production. Like I have yet to hear him say like the movie itself is bad.
Exactly. And he wanted to do like more of 4, you know, so he couldn't have hated it that much. He didn't like disown the series, you know. So fuck you, Booyer Anon.
I think the only thing, the worst thing you would say about Wes Craven is that the Weinsteins produced the films, the Scream movies specifically, you know, like, and also what does Captain Rhodes say here? The people under the stairs, but like, of course, because like the people under the stairs, that's another thing, by the way. This movie invokes the people under the stairs, you know,
right?
Like,
it does.
Like, you know, like, oh, you know, like, look at how woke we are, you know, and it feels so inauthentic, right? Like, it feels like it's trying to, like, you know, comment upon the fact that, like, oh, we know about Wes Craven, but then it's also like, you'd have no idea about how like Wes Craven makes a movie, right? Like it would be like somebody trying to do a Toby Hooper riff, right? They only do like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but they don't understand why movies like Life Force or The Funhouse work, right? Like it just makes no sense.
You can call that every sequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, to be honest. But yeah, it's disgusting, and people are like really. And I mention this a lot, and I hate it being, and now I hate being circled about, because I said it before. The racism stuff.
No.
Really
You're right. You're right, because like it's almost like they're just lashing out at this point, right?
Yeah. And like, are you really, like hitching your wagon to a sequel? Like, you couldn't imagine someone doing this for Jaws Revenge, and I like Jaws Revenge. I like it. I think it's my favorite of the sequels, but it's not good. And I'm not gonna fucking, disgrace myself in some sort of insane way like this for it. Have some boundaries, have some dignity, man. Look in the mirror for the casual fans, And I'm like, and I wrote casual fans. Some guy was like, "Oh, casual fans, and we make 60 million." Fuck you. You're going to hell.
I still don't think it will pass. Didn't 6 have like 170 million like worldwide or something? Like I don't know. Like, will it have legs? Like the opening week, the Nev Campbell being back was definitely a draw for people, and but
She being gone that long though. She just missed one movie. So
stupid. They make it seem like finally. It's like every time they bring back Jamie Lee Curtis, like she's back. It's like, okay, she was back in other ones.
To be fair, she needed to be back after Halloween H2O sucked so much. I need a better
That's
back.
true.
Oh, I love that one.
I think
That's true.
It's my least favorite, honestly. Look, my rankings like right. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm very contrarian, But anyway, yeah, no, she has been that long, so it's just embarrassing. It is embarrassing.
I do imagine that there'll be a not tremendously steep, but fairly steep second weekend drop off.
Yeah, I think
1000%.
everyone who wants to see
Yeah.
it has seen it already. And we got Project Hail Mary. So.
Yeah, the box office mega hit incoming, like what just continue on with that, right? Because like I feel like the controversy of all this, like the people got it out of their system, right? Like if there's going to be people who are still seeing it, I imagine like an international in a sense, right? Because like I feel like there has been kind of a large push from the people who have been promoting this film. Like it feels like this movie has had an outsized marketing campaign in comparison to like any other kind of slasher film of this kind of ilk. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, normally they say double the budget and like that, like take the budget and that's the marketing. But I feel like they spent more than that, like on pushing this thing. And then like all those tie-ins they were promoting, like what's the fucking Poly Market bullshit where you could bet? Oh, I forgot to place my bets. Oh,
You know what was stupid about that was that this movie had been leaked like for what a year and a half now, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't change that.
They didn't change it at all.
No.
Okay, let's my.
Does that count as insider trading?
It does. It does lead to my favorite thing. Some people who know the leak and were fans were still like, "Oh, that can't be real," and they came up with this crazy conspiracy theory, right? And where we're like, it's so not real because this one is going to end with the killers getting away with it, and we don't know who they are. And like, oh, you really want to believe that the script wouldn't be that stupid and awful, that you'd rather believe that doesn't have an ending is so great, fantastic. And,
What a waste! What a waste!
I think
that's what I got to say about that.
Scream is a waste,
Right, because even if this didn't happen, where was it go? Because I've seen people say, like, in the other direction of, like, oh, the Carpenter sisters' story is remaining unfit. I've seen people be like, oh, what a perfect ending for them, but then I've also seen they didn't get to conclude the buildup that they were doing, and I was like, building to what? It was like Sam going to become a killer, like that seemed like the only thing that they were building to, of like, she's the daughter of Billy Loomis, and I'm like,
that was stupid to begin with.
Yeah, I was like, would that be a good movie? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I really also don't think they like particularly cared. They obviously cared, but I don't think it was their number one priority on if they actually made money on this or not.
You're right.
Because I think like more than anything, this movie is PR and brand. Like
Yeah.
this is getting them to 8 and 9, like where they will have less controversy because they'll have more time separated from it. Like this was like a fixing.
Yeah, that's what I felt about Williamson. A lot of it feels like I don't know how to write these characters right now, so I'm just gonna do nothing with them and hoping to build them in 8. I need to reset the board.
But that's such an interesting thing to bring up right now, because I also feel as though like I feel like what happened right now, right? Because like obviously we're talking about this movie as kind of like a formality, right? And I almost feel as though what had just happened this past weekend is almost like brand poison. It's almost like in the future, people are not going to want to care about this. Like there will be people who will care about this, but to certainly diminishing returns. Like I'm picturing in my mind's eye, right? Like I'm seeing like if this movie made what 60 million this weekend, it's 25 next weekend. You know,
Yeah.
Not this next weekend for this movie, but for Scream 8 opening weekend. That's the way I see it almost.
Because what's their hook for 8? Like, this is a narrative dead end. Like, other than like, oh, we want to see the continued adventures of Sydney and her. Maybe she'll radicalize her other children into shooting people who wear masks.
No,
like,
you mean Tatum at college? Don't you understand? Me, Tatum at college now.
No,
Scream movie set at college. We've never done that.
Oh, wait. No. So what you do is each of the Sydney kids have like their own powers, right? So like Sydney, so Sydney has Tatum, right? So what was Tatum's superpower in this film? Being able to shoot people through walls, right?
Yeah.
So maybe like precognition, right? So then maybe like her other kid's really good at front flips, right? So we'll say front flips, right? Then the other one's really good at like, I don't know, handling taxes, right? And then that's gonna be.
All right, so let's move on to the ranking, or you guys have more to say?
I have more to say.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. We know the drill. I actually made my ranking up for now, so while we were talking. So now we're all going to be surprised with what I had to say. But number 11, okay? Mine is Scream 7, because I was actually watching, like, should I make this last? But I realized I would be dishonest with myself. I didn't put this last because, as I mentioned, I don't think it's that much worse than the other ones, but it's all of their faults combined. So it's like a bad Captain Planet, you know? So how can I say something that has all of the flaws, but none of the positive of the other ones not be the worst? You know? So it's got to be 7. Tony, what's your number 11?
I don't mean to be a follower, but it has to be number 7. It is the worst of the Scream franchise.
All right, Doug, what's your number?
Surprise! It's 7. It would be funny if it wasn't.
So people were like, "Well, it's still not as worse as 4, even though they don't like it." Like, fuck you, pick a lane. Yeah. Okay, so Zane, what's your number 11?
Okay, so we're starting from bottom going up.
Yep, bottom going up.
Okay, is that including like the show? Like, how's there 11?
We're doing the show. We're doing the show.
Okay.
We're doing the show and Sick.
But Zane, if you haven't seen the show, like obviously, like you do not have to partake. You know.
Okay.
You can wait until we get to your number.
Okay, I just ranked the movie, so I've only got 7 entries.
Okay, so we're when we hit the 7, we can do yours. That way we're not having like gaps. All right, so number 10, mine is Scream Season 1. It's just so annoying and so CW and so teen soap, but not in a good way. I don't ever want to rewatch it. You know, it just makes me nauseous. What's your number 10, Tony?
I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna say Scream 3.
Ooh, I mean that's not that good. I was kind of like wondering how low should I make Scream 3? That was a lot of these are like how low should I make them? Not should they be higher, but a lot of them are like how low should they be?
Yeah, how low?
But the thing for me is like Scream 3 is one of those movies where it's like there is fun to be had,
but it's
also yes, exactly. So it's like, you know, you got to kind of like, you know, give and take kind of thing.
I mean, Jane Silent Bob are in that, and I'll say
exactly
they are not in 7. So, you know, that's an advantage.
one day I will be on the View Askew a cruise. You know, I want to be on that cruise, and I want to be on the TCM Dream Cruise.
You
I
want to
want
be
to
on the
hang out
right
with
side of
Ben
history.
Mankiewicz. Exactly.
All right. So, Doug, what's your number 10?
I'm gonna say it's 6, which was my least favorite before 7. So yeah, that's still towards the bottom.
Yeah, still commendable. All right, my number 9 is Scream 6. It's still fucking terrible. It's so bad. Some of the kills are good, and I do like Mindy's token disposable girlfriend. So that's pretty much it.
Oh,
What's your
and Sam's boyfriend, he's nice. Yeah.
He's fun. He's fun. He's a fun guy. He got a fun face. What's your number 9, Tony?
This will be Scream season 1.
Ooh, we're kind of close together now, man.
We are. I didn't think we were ever far off. I will say that. I don't think that you and I are too far off on this, Elvis.
All right. So, what's your number 9, Doug?
My number 9 is Scream 3. But like Tony said, there are like fun to be had there. Like it's I still think that facts kill, like when the house blows up, is so funny, but like you also have to take a lot of bullshit with it.
Yeah.
Like I want to believe, yeah, like it seems like Craven's heart was in the right place about like what he wanted to comment upon, but it's done in such a gross and Craven in the other meaning of the word way that like
It's so backhanded.
Yeah. Yeah, so that one leaves like a weird taste in the mouth. So yeah, that's my
No problem. My number 8 is Scream 5. I don't like it. I disparaged it enough on this one. I think it's unwatchable in most cases. Some of the kills are fine, but the kills make you feel really annoyed because they feel like they're made for YouTube videos. You know, so Scream 5. I'm not gonna apologize for it. You know I hate it. What's your number 8, Tony?
Well, it's gonna have to be Scream season 2. Like a great time. Like I would recommend this. Scream season 2 is
It's
a
dumb
great
fun.
season of
It's
television.
dumb fun.
But it's dumb.
All right, what's your number 8, Doug?
Scream season 1. It was, yeah, I did not enjoy it. I mean, there's like in our episode of 2 we talked about there are members of the cast that are really trying, and they're there in season 1 too, but season 1 just
Gives them even less to do.
They're less to do, and it's like it feels like a legacy sequel to a story that I don't know about. Like they keep hinting at these events, and like we still never fill in those. Like it's like one of those things. Like, oh, well, just wait till they explain that back of what happened on that Halloween, and then we never, we never go back to that. So I'm like, okay, what are we doing?
So true. All right, number 7, Scream 3, because morally disgustingly gross, but I also have I have a lot of fun with it. I like Roman. I think Roman is really fun. Really fun
I
character.
love your Roman adoration. It's so pure.
A pariah? I don't even know what that is. He's such a stupid Gomer. I love him.
And the only solo ghost face. He was put in the hours.
Exactly. He was the director. Like a Batman villain or something. All right. So, what's your number 7, Tony?
It's tough. I think I'm gonna have to go with Scream 6.
I respect it.
I have to do that. It's not because I don't like it. It's just because it's not exactly up to par.
I understand. It's in the dumb fun area with 2. I respect it. What's your number 7, Doug?
Scream season 2, like an upgrade from 1, but like we've all said, it's dumb. It's so dumb. Yeah, like all credit to the cast members that are trying to imbue those characters with something, but it's just a bad CW show. Yeah.
I just want to point out before we get to Zane's point, like here, Elvis still has Scream 2 on the board.
It's so fun. It's so fun. It's so fun. I'm sorry. We're all like, I'm not agreeing with you guys. Like, yeah, Scream season 2 sucks and it's bad, but it's also we're like almost halfway up. So again, I don't like these sequels. I've said that before. So they're all bad to me. Zane, what's your number 7?
I went with Scream 7.
Oh,
Surprisingly.
7 for 7.
okay, it's on the board. Okay, Scream Season 2. My number 6. It's not that
There
fun.
he is.
It's not that fun. I'll give it that. But I enjoy it. It's got some really crazy performances, so I dig it. What's your number 6, Tony?
Scream 2.
Ooh, I dig it. What is your number 6, Doug?
Coincidentally, it's also Scream 2. This fell in rankings. Like, it used to be like kind of right under 4, I feel like, in terms of like, it was like, yeah, this is like the gold standard of like see, I thought in my mind I was like a sequel that actually like did something bold. It does something bold and different, and really no, it doesn't.
It's just lame, corny, undercooked, you know. What's your number 6, Zane?
Maybe controversial pick, but Scream 4.
Oh,
I mean, there's a lot of people who don't.
yeah,
people
don't
Holy
like
shit,
it.
that's awesome.
But as long as you don't like it less than Scream 7, which I've still seen that. Whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
those people.
Yeah, but people are like we've had people like now we have a bad Scream movie, and somebody's like, well, we've had that since 2011. F you. So Scream 4, a bold choice, but you know what? I'm not gonna. We're running long time. I don't have the time to debate you. I'm done with Scream. Scream 2. Yeah, it's not that good.
Hell yeah.
Not that good. It's like right in the middle. Right, bar middle. If it was a little bit better, it'd be probably better. But yeah, no, I don't dig it. What's your number 5, Tony?
Scream 5. Scream 5 is okay. I guess it's Scream 5 / Scream 2022. It's a good movie. It's fine. It's okay.
Okay, what's your number 5, Doug?
It's funny because I was way harsher on it, but mine is also Scream 5 because I was like, yeah, it's I don't like how a lot of the legacy stuff is handled, but I do like the Dewey stuff, and it's like Radio Silence are competent directors, so like it's not like they're not Wes Craven, but like
That's why it's higher than 6 for me. Yeah, it's better than 6.
Yeah, like I'm not like bored while watching it, and you know, I know you'll push back, Ellis. I think the third act's fun. Like I like you know when Jack Quaid and Mikey Madsen take over. It's just fun. Yeah,
I do like, you know, Gail in that movie. She's a lot funner than she is in like the next two, for sure. What's your number 5, Zane?
Similar near the bottom for everyone, it seems. Scream 3.
Yeah, no, it's just so laughable and not in a fun way.
Yeah,
And it's also just repugnant. Like it's be like, well, we're talking about sexism in the film industry, but also everyone who we reveal is a whore ends up getting killed, even though like that's weird. I don't know what they're trying to say with that other than ugh. Yeah, we're also doing Sick. So you don't.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Sick is still on the board.
Sick is
I
still on the board.
didn't even know that. I
Yeah.
didn't even know that Sick was still on the board. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm glad we still saw with 7 because there's not gonna be any gaps. But yeah, 6 still on the board.
I've not seen all of Sick. I started it, but I didn't get to finish it for some reason, so I couldn't rank it.
All right, no problem. We no gaps for you anyway. But Sick, I think it's great, man. And like great for the simple popcorn morsel it is. You know, just hot. You know, no fat on it. It's great shit. It's very good fun.
So Elvis, I don't mean to break your heart, but I'm gonna ask you to do this for me right now.
Yeah.
Can you put Scream 5 at 4? And could you put Sick underneath?
Oh my God! How dare you? I'll never
Oh.
forgive you for this. How dare you?
That's where it needs to be.
I would. It's in your middles. I'll accept it. It's not great. It's not high. It's not like perfect by any means. What about you, Doug?
Mine is Sick. Like it's so simple. There's not much to like the characters, but it doesn't have high ambitions. Like it's just being a simple like the killer is coming after you, now run. Like, I think there's missed opportunities in like the COVID messaging and commentary, but like we said in our episode on that, they didn't didn't have the benefit of hindsight. Like they were just trying to rush this out. So like a Sick coming out now could probably be a lot better in that regard, but
A
it's
lot
still
more
very
nihilistic and shit.
yeah, it's still very enjoyable. John Hyams is a
Those
competent
kills
director.
are fantastic, man.
Yeah, they're really fun. Like it's just a good thrill ride. The chases, I can't say enough about like how like
It's so
dynamic they
varied.
feel.
It's like one location, and they film the hell out of it. It's amazing. How
Yeah.
about you, Zane? What's your number 4?
Scream 6.
Whew. Forgot that was still on the board for you.
Yeah.
Oh my god! How? Okay, whatever. I'm like, we don't have time. We don't have time. Scream. My number 3 pick is Scream season 3. Not surprised. We've all loved it. On our episode of it. It's fun. Has great themes. An ensemble cast that actually matters. It's the real Scream 5 for me. I'm going to say it. Yeah. What about you, Tony? What's your number 3?
It's Scream 4. I'm sorry to say, but I
top 3.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Top 3.
Yep.
I'll take it.
Mhm.
What about you, Doug? What's your number 3?
Scream season 3, baby. I mean, yeah, it's easily the best, most watchable season of the show, and just one of the best, like post the original movie, best Screams. Like it, I feel like this is a fun cast. The Ghostface is, you know, like there's actual. It feels like there's actual stakes and intensity again. Where like I'm worried about these characters getting picked off, and then the kills are like pretty gnarly. Like some of the gnarliest kills I'd say in the franchise.
It is freaking gory as hell.
Also, Candyman shows up. There's a Candyman v the Ghostface fight. It's fucking awesome.
It makes great use of half of that cast in it, isn't it? So it's got the big boy seal of approval. So number 3. What's your number 3, Zane?
Scream 2.
No problemo. And okay, the last 2 are not gonna be any surprise for anybody. Scream 4, I think it's a masterpiece. I think that is still on the pulse of America today. And it's got some of the best ghost faces because, you know, they don't do this fucking Stu impersonation. They just don't. It's amazing. It's a breath of fresh air.
Elvis, I think you know what my number 2 is going to be. I'm just going to build off of your point of Scream 4. I think that Scream 4 does a lot of what Scream 7 and what Scream 5 were trying to do, but it ends up becoming a more prescient commentary while also being like you know, an evolution of the whole Columbine thing that the first movie had going on. But if it wasn't apparent, Scream the TV series season 3 is my number 2.
Yes. I mean, yeah, it's of a mind. It's of a piece. I think that they form a coherent thematic trilogy.
Yes. I feel as though Scream the television series season 3 does Scream 4 better than Scream season 4. I'm saying season because it feels like television to me at this point.
I'm not going to push back that hard on that, honestly. It is of a piece about that. It's very much like what if Jill and Charlie were one the same? Like let's just commodify into one singular thing. I'm not mad about the Scream season 3. If you haven't seen it, it's its own solitary thing. Definitely worthwhile. And what's your number 2, Doug?
Mine is Scream 4. I mean, I freaking love this movie. This is probably like it still stands up for me. It has I think it does the legacy sequel better than any of the other attempts in the franchise, and like with the best ghost faces like reveal outside of Stu and Billy, and it's like it's just echoing everything you've already said, Elvis. Like I think it really holds up in like what it's commenting on about youth culture, like because that's what I feel like Scream should be getting to is like Wes Craven checking the pulse of not just horror, but seeing like, are the kids all right? And the answer is no. And like 4 is like very prescient in that matter because it like is like way before like streaming culture and like all that even like really took off. Like it existed in like forms back then, but not like the way we see it now. So like I think like streaming and influencer stuff is like gone way. So like everything's been proven right about Scream 4.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you know, that's what the Pulse of America is about today. And those same ideals and, you know, psychiatric kind of things that Jill and Charlie were all feeding into.
Jill could become president now.
Jill could become president. What's your number 2? Zane? I'm pretty sure I know.
Yeah, Scream 5. I love like
Hell yeah.
like half remake. Like admittedly, like Force Awakens is my favorite Star Wars movie.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And so like those kinds of things just work for me.
Well, mine is Attack of the Clones. Anyway,
Nice.
Scream.
That's also interesting.
Hold on. So we don't even need to go through this, right? Like we already know.
Yeah, we
right?
ran the board here.
We all know, right? Because like at the end of the day, Wes Craven is king. Scream is king. This original movie was great, and they shouldn't have made more of them.
They got it right the first, or they should have made something different, like just an anthology direction, or you keep the same characters but you do something different than a Ghostface. Like I've always been pitching throughout this series we've been doing is like, yeah, just like riff on other kinds of horror movies, because like we're only doing slashers. Like let's do ghost movies, let's do fucking werewolf, like let's do something else.
And we're only doing, you know, other slashers, but then we become about the own slasher we are. Everything became like sucked into the stab black hole, and now everything is stabbed. I'm gonna say stabbed into, but it's still stuck in the stab black hole. But now it's about Scream as stab. Now it's about itself, even in a more direct, more prophetic way. Now it's about like, oh, Neve Campbell and oh, the legacy and story of and saga of Scream through Neve Campbell Sidney.
Because you could make Stab a stand-in for like where modern horror has gone, like we said, In a Violent Natures or your Terrifiers, and like you could have like the fandom in universe reacting to that. Like that's that would be the value of the Stab movies, because like I feel like the only time we get anything that like actually capitalizes on that in the sequels is like the opening of 4, where we have like the Russian nesting doll of like, you know, we're seeing all the other Stab sequels. Like
that's the only time that Stab works. That's what Stab should be. Stupid slasher gimmicky bullshit.
Well, it goes a bit beyond that, right? Because like what you're talking about there is like snuff films, right? You're talking about like, you know, like people actually dying, right, and being captured on film, right? And it's a situation where these films do not lack the vocabulary to actually discuss these things, and instead that they actually want to just be dumb slashers.
Exactly.
And the problem is that even further from that is that nobody's making dumb slashers anymore. You know, like everybody's only making like pastiches now. And for me, like I'm really looking forward to Camp Miasma, you know, from James Schoenberg, you know, because like
that most anticipated,
because that has more in common with your Terrifiers and your In a Violent Natures, you know, than even your Screams. Scream is built for your grandpa. Scream is built for your dad, who is like, you know, excited that Iran is being hit. You know, like it's a situation that like it really has nothing to do with the people anymore. It has only to do with the nostalgia of it all. It's really gross. And like, you know, if we're going to talk about like, you know, how Wes Craven would feel, I think that Wes Craven just wants to go to bed. That's the way I feel about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let him rest.
Yeah. Stop digging him up. Let him rest.
Exactly.
All right. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. Captain Rhodes did his own ranking. He's been coming to show his ranking. 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 4, and 7. Are you sure that's not you? Are you commenting yourself, Zane? Is that you?
Yeah, that's identical.
No, that's probably not me.
Found the burner.
Exactly.
That's how you know Zane's a man of the people. You
I
know.
think I might have the same list as him. No, he's trying to hide it. He's trying to hide it in obviousness.
Throw us off the just like a ghost face would try and like throw us off.
Let's go take my mask off.
Let's see here. Okay, let's see. Let's just peer behind the thought process. My big problem with Scream 4 is direction. I don't really like Emma Roberts. I think she's really mediocre. I think so too, but I think that works in Scream 4's favor because it's a vapid, self-defeating philosophy. You know, fascism.
She went to Little Italy, and for what?
Exactly.
You're gonna treat
The
her
way
that
people
way?
talk about Pereira in 5, I feel about Roberts 4. Fair. I'll eat that. I think there's a strong baseline quality of the series until the bottom fell out in 7. I don't agree with that personally. I think
No.
I think that the problem already there, just that there was nothing to mask it anymore until 7.
Originally for me, I felt like the bomb fell out in 6, but now on this rewatch, it's like, yeah, there were cracks there from as soon as we get to 2.
Yeah. So Scream. They shouldn't make any more, but they probably are.
Yeah, this made money, so they have to. Like, that's just the rules.
That's the rules.
I think it's a mistake. I think they're going to make Scream 8, and I think it's going to be an embarrassment. You know, this is the kind of thing where it's like there are movies that make money, and the studio goes, okay, we understand it made money, but like it would be embarrassing if we made another one. You know, like I'm thinking about like Spider-Man 3. You know, like that movie made money. You know,
right?
Dead Man's Chest. You know, not Dead Man's Chest, but At World's End. That movie made a lot of money. You know, like, and they didn't make another sequel. You know, like. There was a moment where Hollywood studios understood that, like, you know, despite the fact that the movie was a hit, you know, they're not going to make another one because they understand that people have their own opinions.
I don't think studios have that restraint anymore. I think they just see the money, the numbers, and they're like, okay, green lighted. And
that's why they'll fail.
Nev Campbell says she has a great idea for Scream 8. I
can't
wait. Like, is the idea of mass killer chases Sydney and her family around? Like, wow, this is a great. Her idea for 8 is give me more money.
I want to keep working. Oh, this is ridiculous here. Okay, so. I think we're done here for Scream, man.
And forever, like goodbye, Scream.
I don't even want to come back for 8. I only want to come back for 8 if we need. If like it comes out, it's like Tatum in college. I'm like, I don't need to waste time on this. I don't even watch the camera. You know, that's it.
I'll see the clips on my timeline anyway, so I don't need to like bother with it. People will be like, "Whoa, this crazy Steve Tatum." Like, oh, okay.
For a second, that's probably who Tatum was. Like, wait, they brought Rose McGowan back?
Yeah. Well, they need to fake out. They already did. Stu came back, so like they're gonna like dig around. Like, fuck. Yeah. The original Tatum's back. That Garage didn't kill her.
You know how like there are some franchises where it's like they become like super exploitative with like demographics that really enjoy their films, right? Like imagine like in Scream 8 it opens up and it's just like Benjamin Netanyahu standing there. He's like, hello, welcome, you know, like let me show you around Israel, you know, like that's just like the way the movie starts, you know, like that's the way it could go, you know, and I feel like at this point, you know, we're done with Scream. It's over. You know, Scream 7 was a resignation. It was, you know, people who could try and make money. They did make money. Kevin Williamson is a screenwriter. He's not a director. Why did he direct this movie? Because nobody else wanted to fucking direct this movie. You know, like everyone was ashamed of this project. And everyone's going to be ashamed of Scream 8 as well. This franchise was built upon a commentary of slashers at the time. And if you were to even look at that film before it came out, nobody thought that this movie was going to be a success. Everybody was like, oh, you know, the slasher is already dead. And the fact that Scream succeeded was a surprise. And the fact that now it is the way that it is, it's really pathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't have anything else to add to that. It's
I don't have anything else to add to that either. All right, so let's wrap it up. Scream is yeah, let's put it to bed, as I mentioned in the tweet. Let's lay this thing to rest. We never needed more. We got
Mhm.
a fuck ton more of hours, including a
I
show.
like it in Violent Nature, though. I think those movies are pretty good.
I still need to watch it. I've never seen it.
I don't think that looks interesting at all, but I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it if I'm bored.
I like the idea of it
Is-
because I like that some people's response is like, this movie is boring, like, and that makes me want to see it more. I'm like, no, like if it commits to the bit, like that sounds interesting to me. Of like, because it would just be a lot of walking around in the woods and then a kill.
Yeah.
Zane, have you seen it?
Yeah, I didn't like it, but I'm curious about the second one.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm
and
surprised they got a
my
sequel.
yeah, I am too. My like problem with it is I feel weird with the total detachment from the human characters. You know what I mean? Because like we do spend so much time like of that perspective. You know?
It's too cold.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I can see that. Okay, so I'm not sure what we're gonna do next week. Pendragon.
Yes.
All right.
I'm down to talk about Pendragon.
I need to finish read those books. Let's pencil in Pendragon maybe, and then we're off to the cornfield. Okay,
Oh, Children of the Corn, that's coming.
that's
Okay.
coming.
Oh
Okay.
damn, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
Hey, look, doesn't that sound like fun to you? Like it is a good time.
Hey, the second one is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah, and
I-
it's also
I've
Goes
actually-
through the window in the chair.
I've seen a shocking amount of those movies. I just have to say right now, I've seen many of them.
I always knew it. All right, so let's see where we can go. Doug, why don't you tell us where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me here. Normally I change my profile every month. I haven't done March yet, but I'm at the Doug Files on Twitter. Also, you can see me and Tony on These Guys Got Juice. We've been doing regular coverage of The Pit every week, and then also we've been delving into the films of Matt Johnson. We did The Dirties, his first film. The Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie episode is also out, and then we're gonna be do the films in between that. So check it out.
All right, and where can they find you, Tony?
Well, that's me right there. My name is Rolo Tony, but you can also find me at Poor Old Rolo Tony. There it is right there. As Doug said, I'm at These Guys Got Juice, but then also I've got a podcast coming out on 2 Cent Film Critic. Next podcast coming out there, I'm finally talking about Shoot 'Em Up, my favorite of Paul Giamatti's performances, so get ready for that.
Iconic.
And then get ready for In Films We Trust. We did a whole Larry Fessenden film retrospective over there. We're going to have some more stuff coming with that, so keep your eyes peeled. And then also more podcast stuff coming. I'll leave it there, just as a little teaser. But yeah, go ahead.
All right, and so where can we find you, Zane?
I'm in Praise of Shadows, praise_shadows on Twitter, and in Praise of Shadows on YouTube, where I do videos kind of irregularly, but I've got one this coming week actually, so I'm wrapping up now, so looking forward to that.
Love your videos, man. You're
Thank you.
like
Appreciate
the Courage the Cowardly Dog video. Like I just have to say, like Courage the Cowardly Dog is like one of my favorite things, and like I just felt really seen by that video.
I like your videos too, man.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No, I was glad to have you here, and very, very shocking list, I gotta say. I respect it. I respect it. Okay. So thank you all so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure, and I thought that maybe we get out of here quicker because Screen 7 has a lot,
Yes.
a lot to not say about, but it's also really fun to shit talk. So I guess that makes up for it. Anyway, thank you so much. See you again next time, and have a great week. See ya.
Bye.
Baba Booey.
But